We're doing it. We're doing it. Now I have to make it public
give it a second.
on YouTube.
Yeah, I don't see it on YouTube yet. It always takes a hot minute.
Yeah. Live. Oh, it looks like it needs to be changed.
It just came up, I think. Yes, it just showed up. Hey, there we go.
Hi, everyone. I need to do a few things, such as re-uploading the thumbnail. So this is the true behind the scenes. The true behind the scenes here.
This is,
as you see, this is Jen and Tina. Jordan is conducting an interview in a little bit with a guest that you guys know and love. So we will reveal that very, very soon. So here we are, just kind of fixing some tech issues in the background. Hashtag extra Jen, you remembered from yesterday. So today, for those who were not on yesterday, I was sweating bullets because I still have long hauler COVID. I have had since November, and my main thing right now is major fatigue and fever. So my fever is not super high, so don't be worried, but it gets to like 99.7. So I sweat like crazy, even though it's not hot in my house. So I now have a little fan on my face. So I hope it's not, messing with the audio or anything, but hopefully today I will not have
I don't notice anything. Although I need to see your hair blowing in the wind and going like this.
Well, it's blowing a little bit, but I don't have like those pictures of like Ivanka Trump where she's like wind blown perfectly. Like I don't have that vibe going. So unfortunately for me, Banco Vanocu Panther says, "Who needs him anyway?" That's what I'm saying. Who needs Jordan? Just kidding. Jordan's been working
it's
really,
ladies'
really
day
hard.
on Status Coup. It's
ladies' night. Ladies' night with all the men are welcome to watch.
That's right.
But ladies on the screen only.
Ladies on the screen only, which means Hypatia might make an appearance at any moment.
Yeah, Tina has a dog, Hypatia. We didn't do the countdown today, mostly because I am easing myself.
Oh, wait, hang on. There is a little reverb when Jen speaks. Hang on. That's probably coming from my end. Let me see if I can fix that. We don't have any engineers today. It's just us.
Stick with us. Stick with us on the tech here. We're not giving women a good name on the tech end, I guess. But we have a lot of stories we're going to cover.
Is that better?
It's still.
Tell me in the chat if that's better.
Do you have your audio on at all?
I do. See, normally Eva's here and she controls all that, and I just don't know how to work all that equipment. I fully admit this. That is not my wheelhouse. I am a journalist. I don't know anything about tech. I guess it's better. Oh, better. Somebody said better. Okay.
Yes. Okay. As long as it's good.
Honestly, all this fancy equipment is for naught if you don't know how to use it, I've decided.
It's true. Yeah, someone mentioned interesting title. So we're going to dive into a lot of different Biden stuff because Biden seems to be straddling the line between quasi-progressive and it seems like tricks to me. Like it's not real progressivism. It's like, okay, let's placate you guys just enough so that I can sneak these other things through. But we'll dive into that and our thoughts about all of that and what's actually happening. Alcee Hastings has died. We have a lot of stories. Caitlyn Jenner's throwing her hat into the ring for California governor. Breaking news. So we definitely need another reality star in our system here. So Tina, if you could just maybe fill people in on some of the, I know you can't reveal everything that you've been covering behind the scenes in the past couple of days, but anything that you are able to reveal, maybe fill them in. Well, I have to send, because we don't have anyone in the chat today, guys. So I need to send the text to let other people know that we are live. And the email as well. So Tina, if you could take the voice.
Sure. So a couple of things. I've been looking into behested payments in the state of California coming from both Eric Garcetti and Gavin Newsom's office. And why are these important? Well, I think they're pretty unique to the California state. And basically what a behested payment is when an elected official basically says to an individual, I want you to give money to this entity, generally a nonprofit. It could be something also like an inauguration fund. But generally if it's a nonprofit, it's related to other things, so it's not on the up and up. It could be dirty payments. So some examples of what I found is he took behested payments from 2 large health insurers, and they got no bid contracts for the state to handle COVID relief things like vaccination sites. And we've seen it in Garcetti's office in regards to Project Room Key. So more details to come on that. It just takes a long time to link the payments because it is not considered campaign finance. There's very few laws governing it, so they pretty much get away with whatever they want. The donations are unlimited in their amount, for example, and it's dark money. So, but it's very suspicious to me. And of course, as is always the case, it hands a big weapon to the right wing. The right wing will take some of that and they'll create ads against both Newsom and Garcetti, I think. But, again, why do the Democrats in the state keep handing them the seeds of truth for them to create these, nuclear ads against them? It's a pattern, and it's been very detrimental. And now we know for a fact that Newsom is going to be up for this recall. And when you go into the recall, I think it's important to understand there's going to be 2 questions on that ballot. The first question is, should Governor Newsom be recalled? If the answer to that is yes, we go down to section number 2 where we actually cast a vote for who should replace him. So that's going to happen. Question 1, will they get enough yes votes? I think that they might. And I think it's really foolhardy if the progressives do not get behind some candidate or push some candidate to run in that election. I think they need to do that just because if they don't, we're going to end up with some crazy right-winger. My 2 cents on that. And the other thing I've been working on is down.
Actually, I have a question for you before you move on. Do you think that Newsom should be recalled?
I do actually. I don't think for the reasons that the folks that started the campaign against him do. I have my different issues with him. The obvious one is fracking. He's been handing out fracking permits like they were candy, which is, I have a problem with that. But a lot of what you see with the behested payments, for example, it flies in the face of progressive causes. And we know that that's true of Garcetti. So these guys are neoliberals. Again, the state is very much dominated by one party, the Democratic Party, but that doesn't mean that everybody inside the Democratic Party here is progressive. And I'd say some of them, are, in fact, are quite conservative. So they would take Republicans for a run for their money in some other states. So this idea that just because they're a Democrat, they're left-leaning or leftist in any way, shape, or form is just a mistake. Time and time again, you've seen guys like Newsom and Garcetti hand out things to the plutonymy. What they care about is, moneyed interests, whether that's wealthy individuals in their in the state or in their districts. If they're, you're talking about Los Angeles now, in Garcetti's case, Echo Park. I think what happened there with the homeless sweep is a prime example of that. That wouldn't have happened if the neighborhood hadn't been heavily gentrified. So now it's surrounded by $2 million homes. So there's definitely a relationship there.
What I think, I came across this last night and I was actually pretty surprised. So it takes a lot, I think, for Bernie sometimes to throw his hat into the ring for things. But he joined forces with, who was it? With Stacey Abrams and some other kind of neoliberal figures to rally against recalling Newsom.
I saw that.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. Like, it seemed odd for him to, of all things, for him to really rally against that.
Well, I think at this point they're concerned, and this is a very valid concern. They're concerned that he's going to get the yes votes on the recall and that there's only going to be a Republican running against him. And let's be honest, the Republicans that are throwing their hat in the ring are craziness. There's a QAnon guy, for example. He's been leading the charge on the recall campaign. The money that started the recall campaign is definitely Trump oriented. It's definitely QAnon. It's definitely scary right-wing factions. There's no 2 ways about it. I would not question that. I've looked into it. There's a Proverbs Bible chapter, I can't remember which one, LLC, that was formed. to take money and to support the cause. So it's
oh boy.
So if you're just looking at that aspect of it, then it's troubling. But here's the other thing to keep in mind. Would they have been able to reach 2 million votes in the state with only right-wingers signing those petitions? The answer to that is no. There's a giant truck outside right now, by the way. I don't know if you can hear that.
This is the real coup. Tina's house is being cooed right now.
I know, right? So it should be worrisome and troubling to them for those reasons alone. So I don't know that there's enough angry people in the state to get enough yes votes on that first question, but I do think it's possible.
Okay, interesting.
We'll see. And then you've got people like Caitlyn Jenner throwing their hat in the ring. I mean, if you think back to when that's how Arnold Schwarzenegger became governor of our state, right? That was a 3-ring circus. They recalled, Davis, and it was just like over 150 people decided to run porn stars. Like, it was just this fiasco. It was craziness. So could it reach that epic level? Probably.
You think that Caitlyn Jenner is the first of many kind of odd figures to throw their hat in the ring?
100% yes.
Oh boy. Yeah, it's sort of, and Caitlyn Jenner's a Republican, right? I think, if I remember correctly. I think she's pretty conservative.
I believe so. If that's not the case, she's a very conservative Democrat.
Yeah.
I mean, look, a lot of people in the state will run on the Democratic Party just because it's a one-party rule sort of state. That doesn't mean that they're liberal or left-leaning, like I said earlier. We have a lot of very conservative Democrats in the state.
That's the thing that you and I have talked about a lot, and it's been, gosh, I guess since late September or something, since I was in LA, but I had never known, and you warned me of this before I came, but I still, I guess, didn't believe it until I was there. But LA, and now you're saying San Diego, like all of these places that people think of as examples of like liberal enclaves really have these deeply right-wing sects that are really bad, that are really, really strongly right-wing, white nationalist.
I'm going beyond right-wing. You mean, the Daily Stormer started in Santa Monica. So people forget that part. Nazi lowriders, the Peckerwoods, these are all things that got going here in California. And down in San Diego, in the east side of the county, there's a group called Defend East County, which is a neo-Nazi organization that has been very active the last couple of months, or even longer, I would say, since Trump's been in office. They've been ramping up more that they do, but they're very emboldened at this point.
Yeah, and that certainly seems to be, when we were there, when John, the freelance photojournalist, and I were there, it was astonishing. In Beverly Hills, one of the wealthiest zip codes in the United States, just a huge slew of not wall to wall, but like gate to gate, I guess, because it's in this huge park of Trump supporters, and they were there every single weekend, dedicated
every weekend, every Saturday. And look, how many of those folks participated in the January 6th insurrection? Quite a few of them, and more are coming out every day. I mean, DJ Rodriguez is the newest one that's been picked up by the feds. He was there every Saturday. I have all kinds of video of him. I have video of him like hitting an Antifa guy with a flagpole. So these guys are, it's almost as if they're in a cult. And what binds them is, it's not just the white supremacy. And a lot of these folks are, black and brown, but they still buy into the same principles. And they uphold those principles because of the way they were emboldened by Trump. And they've been sold this bill of goods that he was going to drain the swamp, do something about income inequality. And this is why I always say we need to offer a left exit to these things, because if we don't, the fascists kind of take over and say to them, we understand your plight, we're here to help you, and it's all bullshit. But if you're susceptible to that messaging and you buy into it, it's very dangerous.
Right. Well, and I think that is a really good point. And when you mention that these people are cult-like, that is no exaggeration. That is literally what it is. I don't know.
And now they're doing anti-vaccine stuff. Like now they're all over. That same group is all over the anti-vaxxer, anti-mask movement. They're staging all kinds of protests now.
Yeah. And that falls right into it. The same QAnon, these Trump supporters became QAnon people who, became anti-vax people who believe that, coronavirus is a conspiracy and this and that. I don't know if you guys were able to.
Anti-Asian hate is on the rise in LA because of it too.
Mm-hmm. And that's become a huge story for obvious reasons. It's really a scary, scary time. And I think we know there's an echo. We're sorry. We don't have.
Oh, is there still an echo? I thought we got rid of the echo.
Still. I think it's like because you can hear me, it's like going into your mic. So because you don't have an earpiece, but it's, we don't have, it's okay. We don't have an engineer here, so it's okay. But we are the Coup.
Hang on, hold on. Let me try one thing.
Okay. So while she tries that, I'll remind you guys, if you haven't seen, if you remember back when I was in Beverly Hills, John and I, we were walking around and we were in this group of Trump supporters. And I interviewed this blonde woman who,
Gina.
It turns out her name is Gina. I didn't know that at the time. And then fast forward to January 6th. There then became these news reports of this Louis Vuitton clothed blonde woman.
She was wearing a Louis Vuitton sweater, that's right.
It was smashing the Capitol in Louis Vuitton. And
so her business in Beverly Hills is doing false eyelashes, whatever those things that they do.
Yeah, so she happened to be standing next to John, who was filming in the Capitol that day. So John, we happened to run into this Gina in Beverly Hills, and then John was standing next to her in the Capitol with his now historic footage. Gina is in major trouble. Like, here she is, this Beverly Hills, whatever, rich person who thought whatever she thought. When I was interviewing her before the insurrection, she was spewing some major conspiracy theories. She was a definite QAnon supporter. She knew absolutely every single place to get QAnon drops and etc. And she said, my family's in the FBI and they know of this QAnon and this and that, and a whole bunch of BS. But she's in major trouble. She's been arrested multiple times, and her list of charges is quite long. So Tina actually put together with editing by Colin, put together a really shocking report that kind of puts this all together, showing how this, kind of builds, these people who are Trump supporters, and then they get into these conspiracies, and then it goes all the way into like an actual insurrection. So very, very interesting stuff there.
I mean, Jen, I remember the weekend before you and John were here, we were in Beverly Hills. There was someone that was there, and this is going to sound crazy, I know, and it is crazy. There was somebody there selling homemade Botox. And he was wearing.
Okay.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound.
Had I known we were talking about this, I would have pulled the video on it because it's just the craziest thing ever. He's wearing this like silver spacesuit kind of costume. I don't even know what this was. And he was injecting it into people. People were letting him inject homemade Botox, which is really dangerous.
Yeah.
So the Beverly Hills City Council actually went after that guy for health code violations. But this is how culty this group is. Like, we can't afford to get because a lot of them don't live in Beverly Hills, but, they want to be adjacent to the wealth, I guess. So this guy's like, I'm going to sell you homemade Botox for, no money compared to what you would pay at one of these, doctor's offices. And they were all like, yeah, sign me up. It was crazy.
It's completely bananas. I don't understand these people. Okay, so we've been going for about 20 minutes now. You guys are all amazing. We have about 200 people watching. Which
Wait, hello, Hillbilly Botox.
That's a great name. They should actually, Mary, they should actually like they should,
I'm laughing at the
maybe
chat.
trademark that.
Botox. That's
They
good.
should trademark that just so they can later get sued and like sent to jail for it. I used to get because I get severe migraines, which is now under control because I get an Aimovig shot every month. But I used to get Botox for it, which
really? Does that help? Oh, that probably is what it was originally crafted for, I suppose. Things like that.
Wasn't, but they found like that some people who were getting Botox were then helped by it. So they would do it like up here and then like a little bit. So it was never in the areas where people who get it for cosmetic reasons would want it. But people used to say like, oh, you get Botox through your insurance. It's so great. It's like, well, it doesn't, like, it's not really whatever. But but it never helped me. But then when you think about it, it really is, you're injecting botulism. But I have to say, I will probably do it cosmetically later.
But at least if you're buying it that way, you know that it's going to be okay. Homemade botulism is a recipe for disaster on so many levels. I mean, homemade botulism. Think about this.
Yeah, I can't. You have to be pretty dumb to inject that into your body, which these people are pretty dumb. So pretty dumb people.
I think that story just highlights how crazy this group really was at its apex.
All right, so you guys, this is Status Coup. I am Jenn Dize. I tried to fit so I'm using StreamYard today, which you'll have to forgive me. It has literally been since November since I have done a live stream hosted by me because of my long hauler COVID. I've been really out of it. I have to say, not feeling super. I have my Red Bull. I'm getting through it. I'm going to get through it. I'm good. Like, I'm much, much better than I have been for a while. I got my fan going because I'm sweating.
You look good, Jenn. You look good since last time I saw you. So
yeah. So, well, there's videos of me out there like crying and sobbing and no makeup because I wanted to be real with you guys along the way. I wanted people to see what it was like. I didn't want to hide it of what this process was. So it's been months and months of me being real and just like literally me crying in bed or like not being able to talk in bed and just being like, hey guys, this sucks. Because that's what Status Quo is all about. So members, you guys have seen a lot of those videos. I've even put them out on this regular channel. Anyway, all this is to say, if I make some tech problems as I try to switch through these articles today, please forgive me. I'm going to try my best. And Tina's here to, I told her, you're going to have to send me your positive vibes.
I am sending you lots of positive vibes.
Your energy. Tina has an abundance of energy that I wish to absorb. And I don't know where Hypatia is. Hypatia is somewhere in the background, which is Tina's dog.
She's sleeping right now, like she's a good girl.
She's a wonderful dog. So we have 217 people watching right now. Please smash the like button if you have not already. YouTube is majorly suppressing us. It's something that you've seen across all channels. Kyle Kolinsky has tweeted about it. 2 Minutes Reports. All of the channels that you know and love have tweeted about this, have talked about this. Kyle has even done videos about this, kind of documenting all of the lefty reports of it. Peter Dow has everyone is talking about this on all platforms, from Twitter. Jordan has 114,000 followers on Twitter. He's a blue check. His tweets are, because we could see the the stats and the analytics and stuff. Like, nobody sees his tweets. He used to get followers constantly. Nobody's seeing his tweets, so nobody can follow him. We used to be able to use his stuff to boost Status Quo, but now nobody sees his stuff, so we can't boost Status Quo stuff. Status Quo has 66,000 or so followers. Nobody sees that stuff. Nobody sees my stuff. I have 18,000 and some. So it seems like a real effort to not allow leftist voices to be heard. And so some people say, well, it's just a matter of nobody's interested in politics right now. But to that, I would say, you know, Jordan's been in this in politics and in journalism for, I think, 12 years now or so. He's been through all these cycles. He knows what it's like. You know, Kyle Kalinski's been through these cycles. All these people have been through these cycles. So it's not a normal, typical thing. So all of that is to say that we rely on you. We rely on word of mouth. Please smash that like button, share this stream on all of your social channels. It is definitely a battle. We're having a hard time. I have to say that March was a very difficult month for status quo. February was a very difficult month for status quo. February, March, yeah. I was hoping I didn't forget a month. Now we're here in April. Who knows what's going to happen? We have 230 people watching, as I said. Like, normally we would have 500 by this point.
Yeah.
At times we were getting up regularly 800 or so on our live streams. We've had as low as 300 lately or so, and where we would get 1,000 at least. And it's hard because we truly believe in what we're doing, and you guys do too. And you guys are the real supporters, and we love you. So word of mouth is the way we're going to beat this. You know, that's what I always say. Like, no matter what these outlets do to us, it doesn't matter. Like, journalists have always been suppressed from the times of where journalists had to hide in alleyways and hand out their pamphlets. It doesn't matter what they do to us. We're going to find a way. We're going to find a way to get the word out. So we believe in what we're doing, and you guys believe in what we're doing, and that's all that matters. Oh, I see a very Jordan-esque smash the like button in the chat there. So if I were you, I would listen to the man. I would listen to Jordan, smash the like button. Shout out to Jordan, who, as I said yesterday, through some tears that were threatening to escape, he has been really holding down the fort of status quo, because I've been mostly unable to work for all of these months. So he's been doing, you know, we're basically a team of two doing all of this. So he's been doing the job of 20 people. Because we both do the job of 10. So Jordan wants to know why you're green, Tina. Tina is green because she's
Am I green? Oh, because we're using StreamYard today, and apparently you can only change the background. Do I look green too?
No, you don't look green. You look lovely. You look like you're in a field of freshly spring grass or something. I don't know. Anyway, at some point we have to get to the story.
I was out late last night. Sorry.
Out late. Okay, so anyway, share the stream on your Twitter, your Facebook. Smash the like button. We'll keep reminding you. And as you can kind of see, I tried to be clever and write ask a super chat question in my my little name here, but definitely ask us super chat questions. This is kind of a fun live stream. Not all the topics we're going to be talking about are fun, but Tina and I are chill. We're good friends. So ask us questions. We're happy to answer them. Answer our thoughts. At the end, we'll do kind of a Q&A. But yeah, we need your super chats. I'm not going to be shy about it. We've had really low months. It's been hard to get the word out. So $5, whatever you have. $2. Well, we'll answer your questions. Let's make this fun. So the first topic I have to say is really not fun. It's really sad. So on that note, now bear with me. Okay, it's been literal months since I've had to try to switch things to my screen on StreamYard. So let's all have a pause and pray, okay, that I can do this. I don't even know how to do this, because how can I do this when I'm switching my screen and then I'm switching my screen on StreamYard, but I'm trying to switch it. Okay. Anyway.
StreamYard's more complicated than OBS is, I think. Or I'm just used to OBS.
It'll happen.
I don't know.
Okay, so share screen. Oh God. Okay.
Is it sharing?
It's making me allow. Oh God, it's making me allow things. So this is great. This is good. This is what you want. This is exactly what you want on a live stream. Good. Okay, cool. So awesome. Nice. Later. Okay. This is great. Cool.
Is it working?
No. Okay, hold on. Nope, it's not. It's not indeed. Hold on, let me try.
Which was the first article you wanted to talk about? The
Alcee Hastings.
Oh, right.
I don't know if it'll work on yours if you've already given it permissions, because it wants me to restart everything, which is not exactly what I can do right now.
Oh yeah, no, there's no restarting.
Yeah, it's like it's wanting me to restart my browser, so I can't do that. 1 second.
That's weird.
Yeah, hold on. Oh, hold on, it'll let me. Sure.
Well, yay. I mean, we're going to be talking about
guys.
Hastings,
Look
right?
Look at me, this tech genius here. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, there it goes.
Send me to Mensa. All right.
That's weird how it puts it all into. Oh, there we go.
That seems very slow.
And now it's loading. Yeah, one part of this article, Jen, that I think was not really gone into deeply that I think should be talked about is that now that Hastings is gone, the Democrats have a smaller margin in the House, which could be affected. They're down at 218 to 211. There's 6 vacant seats. 4 of those are Democrats that are vacant. 2 are Republicans. One of the Republican seats is going to remain Republican because Julia Letlow's she took her husband's spot. 3 of those were vacant because they took jobs in the Biden administration. Like, do you feel like this is going to have an adverse effect for getting their laws passed that they want to work on?
1 second. My brain doesn't work on 2 things. Sorry, guys. Hold on. I got it figured out. I just have to switch something. Hold on.
See, this is why I don't use StreamYard. It's very complicated to me. I guess other people say that about OBS, but OBS I've figured out after all these years.
This is not a ringing endorsement for StreamYard. I actually do like StreamYard. I just at the moment can't recommend.
So wait, somebody say my mic volume is too hot. It's not reverb then, it's my mic that's too hot. I think you have to turn that down in StreamYard. Or I can do it here though. Hang on, I can do it here because that'll be less complicated. Hold that.
Yeah, I have no idea why this is still loading. Well, geez Louise. Well, anyway, while this is loading, this is just a quick kind of note to say that Alcee Hastings has died. He, 84 years old. I don't know why this is still loading. All right. Anyway.
Tell me if that's better. I turned it down on the mixer, so even if it's super hot in StreamYard, it should maybe follow through.
Your mic?
Yeah. Somebody said it was too hot, which I know StreamYard has its own separate mic setting, so I just turned it down on that one though. So maybe that.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, guys. This is we need engineers. This is why engineers are important. People do not know how important engineers are. I'm just going to say that.
That sounds really good. All right. So, okay, Congressman Alcee Hastings has died.
He actually.
What?
Somebody just said I project. I'm like, I do. Oh, I project very well.
That's right. You can't like talk about projecting while I'm talking about someone dying. Anyway, Congressman Alcee Hastings has died. He had just signed on to Medicare for All, civil rights hero. So this is sad for a lot of people. So I just wanted to kind of note that. I don't know if you have anything to say, Tina. I just kind of wanted to make a note of it.
Make a note of which part?
Of Alcee Hastings dying.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing because he was actually impeached as a judge at one time and made this amazing comeback. He's a civil rights activist. So I'm sad that he has passed away, and I think it also affects, like I was saying, I think it affects the composition of the House at this point because they do have these 6 vacant seats.
Yes. So yeah, that does shift things. So how do you think that lays out? Like, is that a major difference, or do you think that's like how
it
now
lessens the margin, right? It's 218 to 211. If you've got some Democrats that are going to side with Republicans, and there always are, then yeah, I think it might be a problem. It's not a guaranteed ironclad, we're in the safe zone number at this point. I mean, 4 of the vacant seats are probably going to be filled by Democrats. 3 of those were appointments to Biden's administration. So, but 2 of them were Republicans. One is now no longer a contested seat. It's going to be filled by the wife of the guy that passed away. Her name is Julia Letlow from Louisiana. So, I mean, it's close. It's close. It wouldn't be close. Look, it wouldn't be close if the Democrats, actually had a unified caucus where they didn't do what Joe Manchin's doing, which I know we're going to be talking about soon as well. Mm-hmm. But the reality is there's Republican type Democrats that side with the Republicans, and it's not just in the Senate, it's in the House too. So it remains to be seen, but I do think it's something we should keep an eye on.
It's always scary when there's something kind of unknown that happens. I mean, obviously we knew he had cancer. We knew that this was likely to happen, but it's still, he was kind of a known in Congress for so long, and now he's not. So now what happens? And we're at such a point of like upheaval, and now people feel like it's more settled down, but it's not. So I don't know. I don't know kind of where things go from here. And then we've had 3 losses of civil rights leaders in the past several years, of major civil rights heroes. So it's some big losses lately.
Tragic. Rest in power, Rep. Hastings. You know, when he had pancreatic cancer, I believe, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's a tough way.
Ago, he was diagnosed. Yeah, for sure. I want to read, because we don't have someone to send us these, so I want to read them as they come. Martin Boucher, or maybe Boucher, maybe you're French, perhaps. Well, I don't know what CHF is. Is that French? Do you know, Tina?
I don't.
Are you more worldly traveled than I am?
My French is terrible. You should hear me stumbling through my wine cellar.
Wait, you have a wine cellar? I was there, and I did not hear of this wine cellar.
Well, that's because we were too busy drinking IPAs, and I don't know. I do. It's my wine. Wine is my one bougie, like bouge-tastic thing that I love. So, but my wine French is terrible.
Who hides their wine cellar from their guests? Anyway,
didn't. It wasn't intentional. You'll have to come back and drink wine when you're feeling better. How's that?
That sounds good. Martin Boucher, if that's not how you pronounce it. Now it is 5 CHFs. Thank you so much for the support. Andy P, one of my faves. You're so sweet. 10 buckaroonies. Thank you. Why it is $5? No question. Just dropping some funds because this live stream is hilarious. You got this, ladies. Thank you. We try. We're going on a lot of work, a little sleep, a lot of sick, etc. So
this is what happens when I'm less serious.
Keep smashing that like button. We're goofy, but we do have serious topics. We do have serious thoughts. But in this age of incredible sadness and horrible things happening constantly, you've got to laugh a little. Or you'll go insanely crazy. It's really a depressing time. So let's let loose a little. Let's have fun. And one way that you can let loose is by leaving a super chat. I think that would be a really fun way for you to let loose.
While having a glass of French Burgundy.
I don't even know what that is. Is that just a
You
regular
do. It's Pinot Noir. It's the same grape.
Oh,
See, you just heard how terrible my French is.
Pinot Noir. I took 5 years of French. Don't know like a French. Okay, so here's a topic near and dear to your heart that we're going to move on to next. If I can figure out how to switch StreamYard this time, I think I'll get it. Like maybe by the 5th time I have to switch.
Oh, this has to be cop related.
It's military industrial complex. Such a fun. What did I do? I just put someone's thing on the thing. How did I do that?
I don't,
So,
girl, I don't
Theo
know.
Miles, congratulations to you, because I just
Berg's Burgundy.
I just accidentally featured you, which seems to be a really fun feature. So that's good.
That's so funny.
I love this, guys. I feel like if someone leaves a super chat, I could feature you now. I think that would be really fun. Who's gonna test this out? Who's gonna test this out? Leave a super chat.
Wait, this is hilarious. Okay, I'm actually liking StreamYard more because of this option.
Yeah,
this
that's
kind
cool.
of fun.
I had no idea. Theo, thank you for accidentally showing me that's a thing. So you're a real hero. Anyway, so next super chat gets featured. I don't know how to unfeature people, so
The revenge of Jenn it is then. It's insane.
I'm really trying to unfeature. Oh boy. Okay. I don't know how, but okay. So anyway, we will. Okay, it's staying.
I like a good Malbec. Everybody's dropping in their favorite wines now, Jenn. See what I started? We're supposed to be doing news programming here.
How do I get this Revenge of Jenn off?
I think I don't know, but it's sort of like a lower third that's pretty funny, especially because it has the penis kid in it. What's his name again? Charlie Schultz? Charlie?
Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry, guys. I really can't figure out how to get this off. Okay. Anyway. All right. Sorry. We will do the news. We shall do the news next, right now.
Yes. Okay. So House Democrats push Biden to limit transfer of military-grade gear to police.
Yeah. So this is
where do we start with that one? Can I talk about the 1033 program for a second?
Well, maybe I'll go through this real quick and then we'll riff off of it, you think? Or you want to, does that lead into this, you think?
Well, it's what they're trying to limit right now. But the 1033 program isn't the only way the police get military gear. In 1944, we had the Surplus Property Act that allowed the military to start transferring things that were surplus, right? That was sort of the beginning of what became a very bad situation. In 1990, the NDAA authorized Section 1208, which was sort of a mini version of the 1033 program, which allowed specialty gear to go to law enforcement, local law enforcement, so that's state or local municipalities. But strictly it was for use against the drug war, so drug enforcement procedures. And then in 1995, thank you so much, Bill Clinton, that was expanded. And then in 1997, it became the 1033 program that we know today, which is what they're trying to limit back. Obama had limited it briefly, but then Trump re-escalated it. So I think we should end 1033. Obviously, our police are very much militarized. What's the word for that? You know, when you see them out on the streets with tanks, with M16s, with tear gas launchers, triple chaser tear gas, which is a military grade tear gas. That's where they're getting this stuff from. But here's the other thing to keep in mind. They also get it from DHS. DHS has 2 grant programs with which local law enforcement and state agencies can get military grade equipment as well. And that's actually less monitored than the 1033 program is. So I don't know what comes of this, but I think we need to do something about the situation. The police are just absolutely out of control. That is not a big shock to anybody that's been paying attention. We saw in Echo Park this last week where the LAPD came out with 300, maybe 400 officers, I'm hearing now, but a tremendous amount of law enforcement officers, over 60 cars, 5 helicopters to clear an unhoused encampment in a public park. This is insane, right? So in fact, you can see the video on Status Coup where they woke up this one guy who was sleeping in the bushes with less lethal munitions. which are, when they say less lethal, let me be clear on what those are. Those are like the rubber bullets, the red pepper pellets, the things of this nature that they use. Less lethal, they're still lethal. They're still very dangerous. I do not think the police should be using them in any capacity.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. So before this disappears, because they do, now that I know how to do this. So YepX left a $50 super chat, which is freaking amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Can you do a video or discussion talking about the anti-vax, anti-mask crowd and the people even on the left comparing a COVID passport to Nazism, as well as to talk about the pros and cons for waiting for COVID-19 vaccine results? YepX, I think that's a wonderful idea. Yeah,
I can definitely talk about that.
Yeah,
I think. Look, let me just say, make a blanket statement right now. I think it's entirely offensive that anybody would compare this to the Holocaust. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. This is not genocide. Yeah. So I've seen people on both the right and the left do this. Stop yourselves. Yeah. Don't ever compare something like this to what was a massive genocide. It's completely offensive on so many levels. Well, that's my personal opinion.
One of when Jordan and I were, I don't remember what month this was, but we went on, it was like a middle class, like devastation of the middle class, or, it was, I don't know, last year sometime. And we were just driving, and it must have been last June or July. And we saw that in Pennsylvania, this just massive flag being spray painted on this lawn. And so we stopped. And we could tell that these were probably right-wing people. And so Jordan interviewed, and I held the phone and just, we just did a quick little impromptu interview. And the guy seemed, for a Trump guy, fairly reasonable and fairly informed. He definitely had the facts wrong. But he then said that, he compared having to wear masks to Jews having to wear a yellow or a gold star. And, I don't know how Jordan kept going. Obviously Jordan's Jewish, and I couldn't have kept, I looked at Jordan, I was like, I don't know what's going, honestly,
I don't know how Jordan keeps his cool with some of these folks. That's not the first time he's been talking to anti-Semitic people, and he always. I would absolutely deck them. That'd be it. But again, he stays so professional, and he gets this really great footage from it.
Well, yeah, because we were in Milwaukee. We went to a Trump rally, and they called him a demon, or not him, but they said Jews are demonic and satanic, and it's like, what are you doing? I could not handle it. So, but Jordan keeps his cool. But yeah, absolutely. Yeah, facts. I think that's a fantastic idea. Thank you so much for the super chat. It helps us immensely because, as you've heard, YouTube is suppressing us. Everyone is suppressing us. This helps us quite a lot. Our YouTube income has dropped by about 70%. So that's why we say keep those super chats coming. You can also help us out at gofundme.com/statuscoup. And now I know how to feature your
there you go.
Chats. Yay!
Also, Jen, I would add to that discussion that I think it's just, why shouldn't people be able to declare that they've had a COVID-19 vaccine if they're going to travel to another country that has restrictions? Currently, that is not a new thing. Currently, if you go to some countries in Africa, you have to get shots for malaria, and there's other countries that require vaccinations. These are public health issues. It's just that simple. They just don't want somebody coming into their country and spreading a very transmissible disease. So comparing that to Nazism is one of the worst things you can do. And the super chat individual's right. I have seen people on the left make this comparison, and it's really not acceptable. Just don't do it.
Absolutely.
This is, I had one person try to tell me it was about state surveillance. I'm like, we can talk about state surveillance, and I'm very much against state surveillance. I will have a good rant against Palantir any day of the week. But you could do that without comparing this to Nazism.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I don't know if Tina, I think maybe later in the week we could do that conversation. I think that's a great idea for sure. Something I'm definitely down to do. Okay, so let's go through more of this. House Democrats push Biden to limit transfer of military grade gear to police. Let me switch us back to this. Look at me getting this tech down, guys. Smash that like button while I think about it. It helps YouTube show our stream to more people.
There it is.
So as you guys know, we have a huge issue here in this country where our police are getting military grade gear.
Wait, hang on. Jenn, before you continue on, there's something in the chat I want to ask. These are literally the definition of concentration camps, though. That's definitely what they are. What are concentration camps? Having people disclosing they've had a COVID-19 vaccine? Jameson, please clarify that statement because I'm not clear on what you're saying is a concentration camp. Sorry, Jenn, but I had to.
Yeah, sure. Jameson, clarify. All right. So you guys know that we have this huge problem, and that's one of the things, like defund the police, like stop giving them military grade gear. You know, this small town cops like don't need tanks or whatever. Like that might be an exaggeration, but not much of one. So more than 24 House Democrats are pushing President Biden to issue an executive order banning the transfer of military-grade weapons to local police departments, which seems obvious. Why does Biden need to be pushed on this? In a letter to be sent to the White House on Tuesday afternoon, the lawmakers, led by Representative Hank Johnson, argue an executive order is a reasonable step towards demilitarizing our police forces while preserving the safety of our communities. And remember, this is going on while the Derek Chauvin trial is going on, which is really turned into a George Floyd trial, you know, trying to put him on trial, a dead man instead of Derek Chauvin. Anyway, decades of militarization of our nation's law enforcement have led to some police departments looking more like an occupying army than a community-based regulatory arm of state and local government. The 29 Democrats wrote in the letter, a draft of which was obtained by The Hill. Our neighborhoods need to be protected, including from dangers posed by the militarization of police. It goes on. The letter specifically asked Biden to issue an executive order mirroring the language in a bill Johnson introduced last month. Johnson's bill would place broad restrictions on what's known as the 1033 program, which allows the Pentagon to transfer excess military equipment to U.S. police departments. So it goes on and on. It mentions former President Obama curtailed the 1033 program in 2015 after local police suppressed protests in Ferguson using military-grade equipment. But the Trump administration rescinded the restrictions in 2017. Also, Biden had been expected to reimpose the Obama-era limits on the program as one of the dozens of executive orders he issued in the first weeks of his presidency, but no such directive materialized. So a White House spokesperson did not immediately respond, on and on. So I don't know what your thoughts are on this, Tina. My first thought is, why is this a story of, you know, why didn't Biden just do this? Why was it supposed to have been done, but yet it's having to go, I don't remember the number 29 or something, you know, so why are all these Democrats having to sign a letter to get it done? Yeah.
No, it's a fair question. So there's 73 House Democrats that have signed on to this letter. And believe it or not, there's one Republican that has also signed on. It's Tom McClintock, who is one of ours from Los Angeles, from the Valley. I was surprised to see that, but he signed on to that. I think, you know, maybe he might be one of these libertarians that are against the use of police force that we're seeing across the board. But yeah, this is something Biden, this to me is a no-brainer, but you're talking about somebody that has been supportive of the crime bill in the past. And I also think, you know, he has ties to the military-industrial complex. And part of why we see the 1033 program happen in the first place was because of the military-industrial complex. So it's all related to money. You know, and here's the thing, though, even if they shut down 1033, you still have these 2 DHS programs where they can apply for grants to get some of this military grade weapons. So we need something more than that. You also mentioned about some of the states that have been taking the military grade weapons as being some of the smaller states, which is true. Per capita, so this is for based on the population, it's Tennessee and Alabama that have taken far more military grade equipment than anywhere else. California is not even in the top 5 on that. So we've taken like $4 for their 18 in Alabama, just to give you an idea. So it's crazy, but we've seen the videos from protests, right? We've seen these guys out there with their M16s. There's no reason any community policing effort should have access to an M16 weapon. So the defenders of this say things like, well, they have to face criminals on the street that are armed with things like M16s. And that's actually not true in essence. Maybe that happens every now and then, but so rarely. When's the last time you heard of a story where police were faced with a criminal with an M16 in his hand? Anybody? So I don't think that's a reliable excuse. I think it's a start to get rid of 1033, but I don't think it goes far enough. I think we need very serious change in our police departments. Very serious change.
Absolutely. I don't even understand why this is a question. Why, you know, if you asked the average American, I don't know the polling on this, I admit, but if you ask the average American, should the average town, you know, small city, whatever, regular city, have military equipment, they would say no. Why is that a question? So I don't understand why our politicians so regularly across the board do things that are their constituents, Americans, don't want.
Money. It's the military industrial complex.
Mm-hmm.
This is their surplus goods. All of these are considered surplus goods, right, for the military. So they're making money off of it, and it's going to take a lot to change it. I mean, so here's an example. Triple chaser tear gas is something that's banned by Geneva Convention law. Yet we have local law enforcement using triple chaser on on protesters. And these aren't even rioters. These aren't even people smashing windows and breaking and looting. These are just protesters exercising their First Amendment rights. There's something deeply upsetting about that.
100%. I don't know what Biden will do. I suspect he'll do something. I don't know what your thoughts are on that. I think, you know, the fact that even kind of more centrist Democrats are signing this leads me to believe
he'll do something. I think you're right. He'll do something because he has to. He's been pushed into that.
Yeah. But the fact that it's even a question is concerning. and he'll get to mark it on like another check mark on his board. Like, oh, yay, look what I did. Look what I did. But it's
right.
Why?
I mean, remember, this is a guy who said that police should shoot protesters in the leg. Yeah. Just a fair reminder. Instead of saying we shouldn't be shooting them whatsoever, which should have been his hard line, he said maybe we should just shoot them in the leg. I mean, really?
Right. Yeah.
So I think he definitely has a sort of pro-military, pro-police stance on some of these things, and he's going to have to be pushed away from that.
He definitely does. He definitely has kind of an old school view of what police are and what they're for. And not only does he have an old school view of it, but he has a white man's view of it. So he doesn't understand and hasn't taken the time to understand what is actually happening in this country and what has happened through his time in the government. And, you know, he calls himself a warrior for Black people. And
right.
But no, we all know that that's not true.
No.
It's astonishing that he has developed the reputation he has, despite the facts of his his whole career and the things that he has said and done. It's baffling to me that he's able to pull the wool over people's eyes so readily and easily, but here we are. So Yeah, he'll
So,
get
well,
to.
Jen, let me ask you this. Is he really pulling the wool over people's eyes? Because I think people that see him for who he is, like you, me, and probably most of the status quo viewers, they see him for that. I think the people that are okay with Biden are okay with those things as well. I think a lot of liberals are actually okay with a strong police presence. They're certainly fine with gentrification, and they want their private property to be protected. They're fine with unhoused people, just not in a park that they go to on the daily that's down the street, right? Move them somewhere else. I don't want to have to see them. I feel sorry for them, but I don't want to have to see them, right? It's sort of like that meme that's been going around with the two bombers that are dropping bombs. One says Republican and it's just the guy dropping bombs. One says Democrats and it's the guy dropping bombs, but on top of his plane there's a gay pride sticker and a BLM sticker.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think there's something to that.
I'm also worried, though, that some people who maybe were even Bernie Sanders supporters or progressives are maybe being, maybe they're so glad that they're out of the Trump era that they're being placated by these things.
Yes.
That they're kind of falling back to sleep, even if these people said, oh, I will never go back to sleep, like I'm awake now, but they're seeing like, oh, you know, Biden's doing XYZ, like, oh, it's, you know, not as good as Bernie, but it's good, like Biden's doing okay, and they're going back to sleep, and they'll reset to the standard that Obama sort of set for what liberals and Democrats can come to expect, and believe that it's all we deserve and all we can ever get. And so I feel like this is a step back for progressives. Obviously, I'm so glad that that Trump is no longer in office. Like that is horrible, but this is certainly not, you know, these little steps that Biden is doing. Like, yeah, there's some good things to come of it, and we'll talk about the potential 50K student loan cancellation, which would be fantastic. I've got like $90,000 or something ridiculous. But what really is to come of this progressive movement under Biden? So I worry.
No, I think that's fair.
Yeah. So we have another super chat here.
Yay!
Not a bootlicker, $5 in the super chat. Jen, I'm a male nurse if you need anything. Well, I'm not really certified or in any sort of official program, but I can Google stuff pretty good. Well, I don't know about your qualifications, but yeah, if you have any suggestions for long hauler COVID, I'm all ears for sure. So there is one comment that I wanted to put up on the screen, but it's probably so far back that I can't now. Mr. Shiggity has been like yelling at me over and over again, like constantly. So I want to address you because I don't know what your deal is. Mr. Shiggity, Jen, can you call out generational wealth inequality for once in your life, please? And thank you. And then proceeded to like write 10 more messages, like saying, see, you're not doing it. Like I was literally talking about a news story. What do you want me to do? Yeah, I know. People are saying don't talk to him, etc. Yeah. So what I'm saying to Mr. Shiggity is I know that you are trolling, but obviously we call that out all the time. Maybe you should watch us. I recommend that you do because we do that. Anyway, so I don't know if you have anything else to say on the military-industrial complex.
I'm reading Mr. Shiggity now.
Mr. Shiggity. I just say Mr. Shiggity. It's a good name.
Yeah, okay. You went where I was going to go, but...
Carney Verde, I'm not feeding the troll. I'm trolling the troll. There's a difference. But keep those super chats coming. I want to tell you something. I want to tell you a secret. So I think Jordan's interviewing right now, so don't tell him, okay? Jordan is worried, okay? Shh, keep this between us. Jordan's had to do, as I told you, the bulk of the everything since I've been sick, which has been since November. This is going like April 20th will be 5 months since I was sick. So that means I've been behind the scenes. I've been doing. We've done. This will be 2 Flint investigative pieces. I've been, handling like when the footage John shot first at the Capitol went viral. Like I handled all the licensing, and so I've been doing stuff, but I've been really out of commission. Like it's been really hard. So I have to say, like, Jordan's been doing the bulk of everything, like all the live streams, like so much. So he's been doing so much that he's extraordinarily worn out, like extraordinarily, to the point I've never seen him this worn out. So I want to, even though I'm still sick, like he's like, no, he doesn't even want me to be doing live streams right now. Like I had to fight him on this. It was like, no, I'm okay. Like I can do live streams. It's like, no, it's going to set you back. It's like, no, it's okay. Like I can do a live stream. I'm just sitting in a chair talking. And so he's really built this up. Like his worry is that if he stops doing live streams, if he stops doing anything, if he takes any sort of break, he feels now like everything is going to collapse, because he's become like used to doing it all. Like it used to be like we would split up, like I would do live streams a lot, like I would be in the field all the time too, like we would split everything, like whatever, and we were growing, we were doing great, like everything was awesome. Well, now YouTube's in the crapper. I've been sick, like our income is way down, so it's been hard. And so now he feels this like weight of trying to carry everything on his shoulders.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm starting to do live streams again. And so what I want you guys to know is that I'm really trying to encourage Jordan to take at least a week off this month. And then I believe that, he and Anat are talking about finally taking some sort of honeymoon and stuff like that. So what I want you guys—
that's right. They haven't had their honeymoon yet. My
yeah,
goodness.
they haven't even been able to have a honeymoon. And so now, like, once they finally get both their vaccinations, which Jordan's had his first one, then, they can finally do that. And he really needs a break. So his worry is literally like he has this fear like it's going to all fall apart if he stops. So he needs to remember, like, it's okay. Like he can take a break. Like he feels like you guys will all run away if he takes any sort of break at all. So I need you guys to just, I don't know what the answer is, but like make him feel like you're here. Like you're not gonna, like, if he stops doing live streams for 1 week or something, like you're still here. Like keep, and I don't say this to beg for super chats or whatever, but like if we keep the super chats coming, if we keep the views coming, if we keep the memberships going, if we keep all things going at full force, even when Jordan's gone, like that's what we're gonna do, and that's what we've always done. He needs a break. It needs to still keep going it, and that's what we've always done. Jordan needs to know that it's okay for him to take a break. Like he's done a lot. You guys, I don't know if you guys saw my stream yesterday where I got pretty emotional about everything he's done for me. Like there were a lot of days where when I was sick, like he would be the only one who would check in on me. Like he would forward me all your emails and messages. And he would, he's done a lot for me, and he's a really good friend in person. So he's now at a point where he needs a break. Like it's not good. So you guys are awesome. You guys are the Status Coup crew, the community. So help us out. Like share our stuff. We're being majorly suppressed. Smash the like button, share our stuff. If you aren't a member yet and you can afford it, statuscoup.com/join. If you're already a member and you have any spare income or whatever, and you believe in independent media, if you believe in Status Coup and the in-field and investigative reporting we do, GoFundMe.com/status coup. Any amount helps. Every amount helps. YouTube has cut our income by 70% in the last few months, which doesn't help. So we really appreciate it. So I'm going to be holding the fort down more and more. So as he gets some more rest. In the meantime, I'm still sick, but we're going to keep it going. Like, that's what we believe in status quo so much. We're so grateful. Like, you guys love Tina to death. Like, Tina, it has some amazing stories coming. We are going to keep going no matter what. We're not in it for the money. We're not in it for whatever. We're in it because this is the work that we believe in. And there's so few people. We've talked about this, you know, like, there are so few people in the world who believe in this kind of work as strongly as like the three of us do.
Yeah. Well, because there's no longer any money in it like there used to be. That's the unfortunate reality. There's no money. And I don't think any of us are that motivated by money. We're motivated by our passion to do what we do.
100%. Absolutely. Absolutely. So so that's all I wanted to say. Like, I wanted you guys to know that that Jordan's super burned out. Like, he'll admit it sometimes to you guys, but it's at the point where it's humans can't take as much work as he's been doing. So anyway, keep it coming. Keep the super chats coming. Ask us questions. We're happy to answer them. Statuscoup.com/join, GoFundMe.com/statuscoup. Angus Lund, $5 in the super chat. Good to see you back. Oh, Tina's being infiltrated again with her truck. Angus Lund, $5. Good to see you back, Jen. Hope you're feeling better. Thank you, Angus. I'm taking it day by day. Some days are definitely better than others for sure, but I'm hanging in there. I'm hanging in there. So let's see, did I miss anybody? Okay, so yes, and Cheryl mentioned Ty. So we've been having these ideas where maybe like we'll get the gang back together. Okay, Mr. Shiggity has to go. Where we're gonna get the gang back together.
He's still going off.
Yeah,
he apparently thinks that if you're not willing to debate him, that makes you a Nazi. That is the most idiotic statement I've ever read. No, some people aren't worthy of debate. Doesn't make you a Nazi, buddy. That makes you an idiot. Go away.
Mr. Shiggity said Jen doesn't care about Jordan only money.
Publicly calling somebody an idiot. You must be a bad troll.
Tina.
I would have put his ass in timeout already. That's just me. Ooh, I'm a Nazi.
Tina, look.
Forget that guy.
Look. Tina, look at it.
Yeah, sorry.
Tina, look at it. It's exciting. Triumphs Rule 07. You are a hero. Look, how do I feature you? I know how now.
Yeah, you figured it out. Do it again.
Yay! Triumphs Rule 07. Hero. Yay!
Yeah.
Jordan will be so excited. He will. He'll be so excited. He like measures his life in like views, and not because of his ego or anything. It's like his like worth as a journalist is like, oh, YouTube is not showing my stuff to anybody. Like, no one cares. No. So Triumphs Rule. Thank you. Status Coup. We care about journalism. We tease and we joke, but we're being silly. Like Tina and I
we're doing a lot of joking today.
we're being goofy. But the truth is that we care so much about this journalism. We work our asses off, and we do it for you guys, and we are only able to do it because of you guys. So we really appreciate you. Thank you 100 million times over. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Oh, amazing. Keep it coming. You guys are really great. Perfect. So I have to write all these down. Normally we have someone in a chat to write all these down, but I have to do triple duty today. So keep it coming, guys. And as I do, so normally people have like producers and like people writing things down in the chats and like doing stuff, but we're just us. So, okay. So next we're gonna jump into what the title of this stream is about. That would be student loans. And I just realized we're not going to play videos because I'm wearing earphones. And that is because I have my fan running, and I won't explain the logistics there, but for that reason, I cannot play videos. So it's because my fan is plugged into the USB, of which I only have one port because Mac decided to get rid of USB ports. Yes. So, so we have another instance here of Joe Biden maybe doing something good, only maybe, and only maybe to look good.
And quite frankly, 50K is not enough.
No, it's not, and I don't necessarily trust it. Oh my gosh, Jean! Oh, I have to put her up. Okay, you guys don't. Okay, sorry to interrupt, but we're gonna interrupt for super chats today because I don't have someone to write them down for me. Jean Scheid, 1999 the super chat. Good to see you back on screen, Jen, with a heart. So I want to tell you about Jean. Jean is an angel sent from above. Jean sent me at probably one of the worst points of my COVID journey. Sent me an amazing care package, just incredible. It helped me so much. And I really, truly, strongly believe that it's one of the reasons that I'm at the point of health that I'm at today. Like if she hadn't sent me that stuff and I hadn't learned about some of the things that she'd sent me, I think I would still be much worse off than I am today. So like I almost want I'm trying to not cry because the care that she put into the care package she sent me, and just, you know, Jean doesn't know me. She's never met me, but just the love that she put into that and the care was just, it was so meaningful and it meant the world to me. I can't say enough how much I appreciated that. And mentally too, you know, COVID, living in a single room, living in my bedroom for all this time, you know, it really gets you down. You don't have much contact with people. So to know that someone's thinking about you really means a lot. So Jean, you're such a hero. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate the super chat. So thank you. Love it. Yes, it's really hard to like put these back off. Jean, shine. Sorry guys, that you're having to deal with my secretarial monitoring here. Keep those super chats coming, guys. I love this. Linear Bob, I can't quite read all that, but email me, or info@statusquo.com about what you're talking about. Okay, so this is another instance. We just talked about the military industrial complex. Let me make sure I have this up. Now we have Biden still considering cancellation of as much as $50,000 per person in student debt. So at first, he kind of talked it down to $10,000, which we were kind of all like, okay, yeah, that, of course he was going to do that. But now he's floating 50,000. So that kind of, you know, perked my ears up a bit. So we haven't ruled out options, White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said. The story at a glance, and this is out of The Hill. President Biden is considering his options for canceling student loan debt. Biden has signaled he would be willing to cancel $10,000 in student loan debt through legislation in Congress, which is nowhere near enough.
10K isn't going to make a dent in anything. It's ludicrous.
No. 44 million Americans have student loan debt. And, you know, this isn't just people. I despise the people, or at least their thoughts. I despise the people's thoughts where they're like, well, if you didn't want to pay the debt, why did you take it on? Well, it's because this is what the society is forcing us to do. They say, if you want a good job, you have to go to college. Well, if you want to go to college, you have to pay all this money. You have to pay $100,000 to go to college. If you look, people,
even at public university, it's outrageous. So,
absolutely.
Jenn, I feel very strongly, I have very strong feelings about many things regarding this, but one thing that bothers me about what you're discussing right now is people that say that, I don't think they have a well-founded history of how we got to this place. Mm-hmm. So just to give you an example, when I was at UC Irvine in the early 90s, getting my undergrad degree, my tuition, my first year there was $500 a quarter. I think people need to understand that.
Yeah.
Yes, the younger generations need to hear this so it gets through their brains and they can argue back with the boomers, because it's the boomers that definanced the system, and they definanced it. So by the time I graduated, it was up to, I don't know, $2K. So it escalated rapidly when they started to definance the system. So when Bernie Sanders or Ed Markey or any of these folks talk about tuition-free public university, this is not a unicorn. It's not a pipe dream. It's something that we once had not that long ago, and it's something we should have again. They chose to definance our public university system under neoliberal privatization. And now, in addition to that, they're making money off of the loans that they give the students. It's outrageous. It's a double-edged sword, right? So we're going to definance the system, and we're going to force you into taking debt. We're going to make money off of you taking debt. And then to add the cherry on the sundae, we're not going to let you declare bankruptcy and get rid of that debt. Even if you declare bankruptcy, you're still going to owe those student loans. We have people that are on Social Security now because they signed for their kids' loans, and their damn checks are being garnished by the government. It's absolutely outrageous. Everybody should be in the streets over this. And $50K, it's not going to do it. Forgive all of it. You do it for the banksters.
Yes. Exactly. They do it for the banksters. They won't do it for the people. And that's the thing. They want people to go to college for the common good, right? They want people to be educated. They want people to be able to do a good job in jobs and careers that benefit all of us.
Yeah, which is all good. But don't then say to you have to take all this debt on and you're going to be strapped with it for the rest of your life. Make public university free again, as it once was. There's a reason that I don't have any student debt. It's because I was lucky enough to go through the university system before it got really bad. And here's another thing to keep in mind. This is really going to piss some of the Zoomers off. My part-time job while I was at UC Irvine paid me $16 an hour. And now it's fight for 15. This is how far backwards we've come in this country.
Yeah. And that I think astonishes a lot of people. When I graduated college in 2006, and when I look, I feel like what I spent for college for undergrad was obscene. But when I look at it now, holy
it's even
crap.
worse. Well, it was obscene. God. It's just even worse.
Yeah, no one can afford this. No, unless you are extraordinarily blessed, nobody can reasonably afford this. And there's no reason for it to be as high as it is. It's just become, they've made people feel like this is the normal, that this is the way that it's supposed to be. And of course it's not. It's not supposed to be this way.
It's the definancing. So just to give you an idea, the UC system here in California, when I was attending there, my first 2 years there, 96% of the budget was coming from the state of California. Now it's down to 8 or 9%. Less than 10% is coming from the state of California. That might as well be private university. And it's outrageous. And yes, I know these numbers are totally 100% accurate because I actually served on our alumni board. So this was something that when I was first exposed to, my hair caught on fire. I was so angry. I'm like, no wonder why these kids can't afford it. This is no longer public. The state should be ashamed of itself. And now they're asking alumni and corporations to make up those funding gaps. I don't want private corporations giving grants to the UC. The UC needs to remain independent, academic, and true to their mission. And the minute you start muddying those waters with corporate money or Koch brother money, because yes, the Koch brothers have been trying to finance universities to get their economics departments to agree to their curriculum, this is very damaging. It's one of the worst aspects of it. So I strongly believe, and I'm very passionate about this, obviously, that we need to refinance our public university system. We need to forgive all student debt. We did it for the banksters. Why not for the students? Why not for the people of this country that got educations because they needed to for their jobs? And, another part of that is the more educated the population is, the less crime happens because you do get better paying jobs. We should be encouraging this. It's an investment in our society.
It definitely is. And I hope that, the Zoomers understand what has happened. I think a lot of them do, but they also don't have really a choice because what are people going to do?
It's so unfair.
Yeah, it's forcing people, they do want to go to college. There's no alternative. There's nothing else that they can do if they want to go to college because all of the colleges are like this. So they're stuck with this horrible debt, and who knows what Biden will do. So here's what happened today in this hopefully new move, although it should be canceling all debt. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki signaled that President Biden is still considering his options on canceling student loan debt in a Monday press briefing. The questions came after Biden's chief of staff, Ron Klain, said Biden had been researching his legal authority to use executive action on canceling up to $50,000 of student loan debt per person. Psaki stated that Biden was more than willing to cancel $10,000 in student debt through legislation in Congress, but skirted the idea of using executive action to cancel a higher sum. So Psaki
is right.
Give some quotes talking about a policy review and a legal review, and the Department of Education, Department of Justice have to look at the options, and on and on and on. So
nonsense.
I wonder if she's kind of building this up to say, oh, we tried real hard, but we just couldn't. Look what Biden tried to do. I don't know what your thoughts are. Are they actually making a go at this or not?
I'm rolling my eyes. This to me is as ridiculous as the parliamentarian, thing. Let's find something to blame so we don't actually make any structural change. Also, do folks realize that the reason that you are tied to your student debt if you file bankruptcy is partially because of Joe Biden? This was something he backed. So he has been part and parcel to the problem from when he was in the Senate.
He's been part and parcel to a lot of damaging and damning things. It seems.
Yeah, true, lots.
Oh my gosh. So
clearly he hasn't really shifted his opinion. And it's, what angers me the most is this idea of just desserts, right? That you were talking about earlier. Well, you chose to go to school. Like, it just doesn't work that way. You have to get a college education if you're going to get a decent paying job, which is unfortunate. We can get into the sidebar of vocational training and really, I think the minimum wage should be like $27, $28 an hour. I don't think there should be any skill set tied to having a living wage. It's ridiculous that people think that, in my opinion.
Right.
But I really feel strongly that it's not just desserts. It's not your just desserts that you deserve to be strapped with this debt because you sort of had no other choices if you want a decent quality of life in this country. That's just late stage capitalism rearing its ugly head.
Yeah, 100%. I'm baffled, and the more that this Hill article goes on and on, I think people will continue to be baffled because, as a reporter noted, Biden has said in the past that he would not cancel $50,000 in student loans per person. So Psaki responded, "We haven't ruled out options, but that review is ongoing and there isn't a conclusion on it." So why is this story a story? Why is this coming out now? Is it just to get some feelers out there? Is it just to put like a good kind of vibe out there for Biden, again, to say, oh, we tried hard? What's the goal here? I don't feel, maybe I'm wrong, I hope I'm wrong. Steele Miles says I'm wrong. I don't feel like Biden is actually trying to.
I agree with you.
To forgive $50,000. Yeah.
You're not wrong. And even 50K isn't going to do it.
No.
I'm so tired of the Democrats supporting policy that's breadcrumbs when we need so much more than breadcrumbs. I mean, the entire system is a house of cards at this point because of the massive income inequality. You cannot have the 1% sucking up more than 80% of the new wealth created every year for 5-6 years now. You can't have that continue and expect people to have the expendable income necessary to keep capitalism going. I mean, if you want to destroy capitalism, you're doing that right now. But I'm pretty certain that that's not the goal of these folks because they're all capitalists. So I don't know how they don't see with clarity the inevitable outcomes of what they're pushing. 50K is not going to do it. 1,400K is not going to do it. Either make some real changes here or, just don't be shocked when the outcomes are what they are. And here's the other thing that I'm seeing happening. There's now this push to get our DA, Gascon, recalled. Gascon is somebody that's been in office. He's been trying to reform the system. He's let go some protesters that were, held by Jackie Lacey's office for ridiculous charges. He just released them. He vacated the charges. He doesn't think it's wrong to prosecute police officers, so the LAPD does not like him. So here's somebody that's actually coming in and trying to make changes. So now they want to recall him. Well, they sent out a push poll last week, trying to muddy the waters about why Gascon should be recalled. And one of the things they talk about is the increase in crime. And instead of them being clear about something, which is that the increase in crime is coming out of poverty. So we have folks that are, robbing stores to buy groceries. Everybody's a criminal when they're hungry. You cannot expect to have half the city not work, for a year and then give them $1,400. Then when they set up tents in Echo Park, you send the LAPD in to bulldoze their housing and fence it off so they can't even get back in if they wanted to. All of these things are going to create more crime is what I'm saying. These are crimes of poverty. Yeah. These aren't bad people running around doing bad things. But what the neoliberals are trying to say is that no, it's because Gascon has decided to not let us prosecute criminals, or he's let criminals out of jail. They're trying to, turn and these are Democrats that are doing this. It's outrageous. Here's the party that says they're against these things, but once again, they're enabling what they say that they're against. And I don't think, I think our example here in Los Angeles isn't isolated. I think it's a microcosm of what we're seeing throughout the country. So these are crimes related to poverty, and if we don't do something about the poverty, they're going to increase. That should not be a controversial statement.
Absolutely, it's not controversial at all. These people, and it all comes together with the story that we just talked about, the military-industrial complex. If we can forgive student loan debt, reduce poverty, that we will, not that we need the military vehicles with the police, but we'll have reduced crime, and it all works together. The people in leadership are screwing us over. They know that they're screwing us over. They don't care because it's all about the money. They don't care. Right. And it's so frustrating. That not only do these people not care, but they're pretending to care. It's like they think we're children. We'll placate you. We'll put out some statement. We'll have Jen Psaki go out and say some nice words, and you guys can all go back to sleep. And it's maddening, and it's infuriating. And unfortunately, a lot of people fall for it, and they will continue to fall for it because it's Grandpa Joe, and poor Joe, he's had a sad life. Right. And he has had a sad life. He's had a really sad life. But that doesn't mean he gets a pass on, militarizing the police and not forgiving student loan debt and screwing over the American people. So it's really disgusting. I hope to be wrong. I hope
you're not wrong. Jen.
I hope he forgives student loan debt. I hope he demilitarizes the freaking police, in small podunk whatever town. They don't need rocket launchers or whatever they have.
But Jenn, they do need a I can't say that word today for some reason. They do need a militarized police to keep the poor people in line and to protect the private property of the rich, because that's really what this is about.
That is, that's what it's about.
Are you familiar with Saul Alinsky?
You know, that keeps coming up in my recommended books. I know that like Hillary read it and people were, and they were saying like, oh, Hillary is a real radical. I don't know. Is that something I should read?
You should definitely read. You would love Saul Alinsky, because what you're saying right now is sort of what he gets at. And he did this how many decades ago? So it's really a tried and true thing. Mm-hmm. But what he's saying is there's the have-nots and there's the have-some, want a little mores. Mm-hmm. It's the have-some, want a little mores that are the problem, because they hold up the plutonymy, right? The have-nots know that they don't have anything. They've got something to fight for. These guys have been given enough where they're like, do I want to rock the boat? I'm sort of like, I'm not them, but maybe one day I'll be them. Well, I'm not them, but I have more than these guys, so I don't want to rock the boat. So the really problematic part of society are these folks, the enablers. And that's sort of where a lot of these neoliberal Democrats reside.
I see. All right, I'll check it out. I'm always down for a good book recommendation.
I recommend this book to everybody listening right now. It's really interesting. And he goes into case studies of activism and what the proper way to, engage is and stuff. I mean, it's an interesting book. Do I agree with everything he says? No, but a lot of it is really useful.
Very cool. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. So, oh my gosh, look, we have another super chat, and now I know how to show them on screen. I'm like a kid with a new toy. I'm so excited that I accidentally, even though Steo is like yelling at me now, I don't know why, but Steo is
Who's
my
yelling at you?
Steo, the guy I like featured for the first time. Steo, I will never forget you, because you're the first guy that I ever accidentally featured on a live stream.
Oh yeah.
Even though you're yelling at me.
Burgundy, I'm here for that.
So Cyril O'Reilly, $20 in the super chat. Love the analysis. Thank you, Jenn and Tina. Thank you, Cyril, for the amazing super chat. Yay! Keep the super chats coming. As I said, YouTube has cut our income by about 70%, which is dramatic for a small startup like us. We rely on you guys. We are completely independent. We report for you. We are able to survive because of you. We are only answerable to you guys. So we are certainly not taking that corporate cash like certain others. So our in-field investigative reporting, all of that is because of you all. So Cyril, you're amazing. Everyone else, if you're able to, keep it coming. Ask any questions that you want to. And I do believe that we have a couple GoFundMes. So let me check that on out. Our GoFundMe is something that we've had running since we started Status Coup, so it's been over 2 years now. What it says we have here, this large number, is nowhere near what we actually have, because that has been spent on equipment, it's been spent on freelancers, it's been spent on in-field trips. So we keep this going because it helps us keep going over time. So we really appreciate any ongoing support that you can give us. So over this live stream, we've had Keep Being Powerful Ladies. Thank you so much. $10 in the GoFundMe. Andrea Paperno, Andy, thank you. $25 in the GoFundMe. Hallie Richardson, $20 in the GoFundMe. Thank you. Thank you. We really, really appreciate the GoFundMe support. We really appreciate Super Chat, everything, but GoFundMe does give us more of the money. So GoFundMe.com/status coup. Oh my gosh, we've been going for such a long time, and there's like 10 more stories, but we won't go forever.
I go forever. You know me. By the way, Steo clarified his position. He's saying you're right about Biden, but that they don't want people. You're wrong about saying they want people to be educated. They don't want people to be educated. I think those things aren't mutually exclusive, but I think more to Jenn's point is society tells people they must have an education if they're going to get a job. So does the plutonymy in general want people to be more educated? Probably not. It makes them easier to manipulate. But at the same time, private corporations that want to hire people require college degrees and what have you. So I don't think any of these things are mutually exclusive. Thank you, though, for clarifying. So there you go, Jen.
Yeah, see, we're buddies again. Just kidding.
But sometimes there's like all these different options, and people just need to understand what your position is. So the amount doesn't matter because they won't do any amount. Well, yeah, okay. So I hear you. I think we have the same criticism. Whether it's 10K, 50K, doesn't matter if they don't do it at all. Yeah, they need to forgive all of the student debt. So will they do that? Probably not, because our country's a hot mess. I mean, I don't know what else to say at this point. None of this is based on any sort of logical analysis, because if they did see what they were doing, they would realize that the only way to save capitalism is to get hands into the majority of consumers, which has not been happening. People are making far less money now than they did, even 20 years ago. And at some point, they're going to run out of ways to ways of increasing profits. In the past, they've been able to outsource jobs to other countries that paid less. That's drying up. They've also looked at global markets for sales. So even if consumers in America didn't buy stuff, it didn't matter because they could sell abroad to other places that did. But both of those things are coming to an end. So we are in a very dire position. I don't think what I'm saying is controversial. At least it shouldn't be. So what they choose to do at this point remains to be seen. If it's nothing, which I think it might be nothing. I think they're, it's reminding me of when I, talked to Tom Steyer about this, and I'm like, when do they wake up? And his response is that they don't. We have to force them. And maybe he's right about that. So I don't know how you force them, though. How much worse does it have to get,
Yeah. Vicky says New Zealand just passed a $20 minimum wage. Interesting. Nice. Yeah, I actually just saw something that said if minimum wage had kept up with Wall Street bonus inflation, then it would be $40 an hour.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I mean, like the $27, $28 mark would just be if it had been indexed to where it had when they first started, like superficially and depressing it, right? Depressing wages. So it hasn't kept up with either productivity or inflation. This is true. Quite frankly, $40 an hour doesn't sound obscene to me. I think it's also a good idea to just do a UBI if that's the case. If they don't want to handle it that way, handle it another. Some people have issues with UBI because they think it's the technocrat right-wing answer to things. That's not wrong. It is. But it's also something that people like MLK supported. Milton Friedman supported it. This is something that I think will it solve all the problems? No, but it would help far more than what we're doing now, which is absolutely nothing. So I'm not opposed to a UBI.
Yeah, 100%. Okay. Let us see what other stories we have for you guys. Keep smashing the like button. Keep supporting us if you can. Super chats are incredibly welcome. Ask any questions you have. As you can see, I tried to fit in ask us a question via super chat in my name. GoFundMe.com/statuscoup, statuscoup.com/join, YouTube, Twitter. Everyone is suppressing us. Show them who's boss by supporting us. Let's see here. So
you're right about, hang on, can we talk about this one comment? Because he's right. The CPI index inflation is bogus. You're right. I agree with you. Reagan invented it because he wanted to change the way we looked at economics to support wealthy people. We'll leave that for a discussion another day. But yes, I agree with you. Before I get too wonky.
Tina has like a depth of knowledge that is unmatched. She starts talking and I'm like, Tina, what are you saying? I don't even know what these words are. Like half the things she says, I'm like, Tina, I don't know what that is.
Because Jen, I'm 50 years old, so I've lived through all of these motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying?
No, you're just really smart. Literally, like she'll just start talking and Tina talks really fast. And so, and she just like goes off and she's all excited. I'm like, Tina, what are you saying? What does that mean? I love it.
It's hard being me.
We have such a fun time. That's why I'm so sad. Like
Jen, we should do this more often. I'm actually having a lot of fun with this. It's really fun.
Yeah, I was supposed to go to LA to recoup because Tina's yard is like my idea of an oasis. It's amazing. She like built her yard, which I do mean that. She built it. Like she built like freaking fountains. Like
I did. I built a fountain. all kinds. Yeah.
Like who builds their yard? So it's beautiful. It's amazing. This is lovely, lovely place. So
I'm
like, okay,
I'm just lucky
heal.
that I bought my house so damn long ago that I have it to live. Like, I could not buy a house in LA now. It's outrageous. It's so crazy expensive. I don't know how these kids are supposed to get by.
Yeah, it's impossible. It's impossible.
It's impossible. It's just tragic. It's just so fucking wrong. I love that I can cuss, by the way.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have to remind myself I'm allowed to cuss.
Do it. Yeah, so you're supposed to go, but I was too sick. But I'm gonna go. Delta gave me a credit for my airline ticket. Like, I had my airline ticket booked and I was too sick. So
when you're feeling better, you're gonna come out and we'll do a live stream every day. How's that?
Yeah, we'll live stream and it'll be fun. It'll be great. It'll be super great. You guys keep an eye out because it's coming. Okay, so back to the news. We definitely can't cover all of these stories. Let me see what we can cover. I think because it is getting late, let me quickly.
This is good.
Let's do like Tina's hot takes. How about that?
Let's do Tina's what?
Tina's hot takes. Do you know what that? You don't know what that means?
No.
What? A hot take? You don't know what a hot take is? All right.
Oh, hot take. Oh, I thought you. Never mind. I won't say what I thought I heard. I thought you said pot take, and I'm like,
oh, well,
is that when I get stoned and start saying God knows what to you?
Well, Tina High is very fun, but
sometimes my hot take and my pot take are the same. Let's be honest.
So that's not what I said, but that could also be a different kind of live stream. If you guys give us enough super chats, we'll do any kind of live stream you want.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So Manchin, what do you think about Manchin taking over, like throwing his weight around, infrastructure bill, corporate tax hike, basically saying like, I'm the boss here. We're not gonna wrap it up.
Jenn, he is the boss because the Democratic Party has decided that he is the boss. It's absolutely absurd that they've given this guy this much power. And the reason they've done it is because they won't stand up to him. Why is it that every time he makes a demand, everybody folds instead of getting in the car and playing chicken with him and see who folds first? They just say, oh, okay. That's on them.
Well, so do you think, like, with Manchin, is there more behind this? Is it Manchin just, you're saying like he does have this power, but why is that the case? Like, are they putting him out front? Is he putting himself out front?
I think he has power because they're using him as a scapegoat. I think the reason they don't stand up to him is they're fine with using him as a scapegoat, meaning that if they did decide to stand up to him and take his power away, we would get more of a progressive agenda done. I think that's absolutely true. I think the reason that they don't is because they're okay with that. Then maybe they don't want the progressive agenda to be done and that they're happy to have Biden as their scapegoat.
I think that makes sense. You know, a lot of talk has been had, I guess.
That's my pot take.
The pot take, hashtag pot take. That could be a whole status quo thing, the pot take.
I think we start doing pot takes, honestly.
Jordan's pot takes would be hilarious. They'd be real great.
Wait, that would be actually pretty funny.
A lot of talk has been had too about, you know, the real issue here are the loopholes in the corporate, you know, tax world. So it's not the fact that, you know, we don't have the same corporate tax rate. It's the fact like Amazon gets around things with loopholes. So how does that kind of play into everything? Are we looking at the wrong things? Are we paying attention to the wrong things?
I think we should pay attention to both. I mean, look, the corporate loopholes. So when they talk about, my favorite thing that they do is they talk about they say, well, United States has really high marginal tax rates for corporations. We'll lose business if we change those. Nobody pays the marginal tax rate. This is just a stupid point. Anybody that thinks that any corporation is paying that rate is just not paying attention. Literally no corporation does. Because of the loopholes, they're lucky if we're lucky, I should say they're lucky because they pay nothing, but we would be lucky if we see them paying 11%. It's much more common to see somewhere between 0% and 3% as what they're actually paying into. But our tax code is so convoluted at this point, and it's also, rigged towards wealthy people. There are things that they have access to that your common taxpayer does not. Carried interest would be a prime example of that. So, again, does the Democrats, are they okay with enabling the things that they say they're against if it serves a certain purpose for their donor class? I think the answer to that is yes. The plutonymy transcends both parties. It's not just the Republicans, it's the Democrats and the Republicans, it's the wealthy elites in both parties. And they have common ground in keeping their money. That's just the way it is. So I don't know how America changes this problem. I really don't. This is something that I've thought deeply on for years now. It seems so insurmountable to me, and it just seems to be getting worse no matter who is in office. I don't see any structural change that happens, or if there is actual structural change, it's benefiting the wealthy elites more. It's that cycle of something that Chomsky talks about, right? There's a cycle of power and wealth. So you get more power when you get more wealth. When you get more wealth, you get more power. And this cycle has been happening for so many decades now that the entire system is just completely rigged against the average worker. And to the point where unraveling it, undoing all that damage is going to take so much of an effort. I don't know how you get it done. I sort of went on a tangent there, but I think it's sort of related to why Manchin has all this power.
Yeah. Well, I'm interested in your hot take on what Jordan and I talked about yesterday on the live stream. So why, if Manchin can throw his weight around in this way, why isn't Bernie Sanders doing the same thing? Bernie now has more power than he has had, and Bernie went on, for some unknown reason, Mehdi Hassan is on MSNBC now for a little while. He was on with Mehdi, and he was basically like acting like the $1.9 trillion package was like the second coming of Jesus. And okay,
I wouldn't go that far, but that was pretty funny. I think Bernie's tired. I think Bernie has tried to throw his weight around, but he gets absolutely no support. We could talk about Ed Markey maybe being in that camp. We could talk about Merkley being in that camp. But there's so few progressive senators that are willing to take that stance. I'm not excusing it. I think he should be angry as hell and out there rallying like he has in the past. Or is it, the other part of it is people are so tired of fighting that they get a little bit of a crumb and they think to themselves, well, okay, this is better than nothing. And if we fight against it, maybe we won't even get this, and then I'm going to get blamed for it. I think there's a psychology to that as well. This is what I'm talking about. I've thought so deeply on this for so many times, and I go through this cycle in my head, and I just don't see a solution. I don't see how the American people get a fair shake at this point, unless we entirely blow up the system. I'm not advocating going full weather underground. Let me just clarify that was a,
Yeah, not a call to action, just a phrase, just a saying. Yeah.
Right, some people will know who the weather underground are. Others will be having to look that up to know what I'm talking about. It's
really, really interesting. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think.
I don't know, Jen. What is your take? What's your what is your pot take?
My pot take. Well, so yesterday, that's what we were talking about. Like, I don't know. I think I am a clearly out supporter of Bernie Sanders, but I also call him out when it is needed, and it's needed right now because he seems to have lost his fight, and he is where now he does have more power than he's had, he's kind of putting himself in the background and just kind of going along with things. I don't know if he's been promised certain things or if he truly has lost his fight. I know Jordan has spoken to people that are very close to him, and they do say that he's lost his fight. He's getting older and he's tired.
I think that's part of it. I do.
And it's sad. You know, I want to know who's going to pick up, you know, the baton. People thought it was going to be AOC. I think that's pretty clearly not the case.
AOC is definitely not going to pick up that baton.
Not going to be the case. So
no. Yeah. Look, I'm not going to say more than that, but I do not think she's picking up any baton anytime soon.
No. It's sad, and that's we talked about that on the live stream yesterday. It's very sad, but I think it's pretty clear that AOC is not, you know, I'm not saying she's a sell, you know, I'm not hashtag sellout fraud or whatever.
No, I'm not saying that either. I don't think she has. Look, it takes a certain personality matched with a skill set to do what Bernie Sanders has done through the decades, and it's a rare thing. Bernie Sanders is a rare thing. He's a rare thing in any political capacity. He not only has the knowledge and skill set to do what, you know, to achieve the things, like knowing about how to pass amendments, knowing all about, you know, even the basic day-to-day functions of the Congress as far as, you know, parliamentarian things, right? But he also has the ability to fight, and he's pretty clean, meaning that he's there with a passion for a reason, not to make money or to grift, but to really fight for the things that matter. He is a rarity, and I do think he is tired. I don't blame him for being tired, quite frankly. I think this last primary cycle was absolutely outrageous, the way he was treated. It was bad in 2016, and you know, you now have that book Lucky coming out. I don't know if people have been paying attention to this, but one of the chapters in there talks about how Bill Clinton was out there saying anybody but Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders cannot be the face of the Democratic Party. I mean, these are folks that are literally fine with Trump over Bernie Sanders. How fucked up is that?
It's insane. I haven't gotten.
They will do anything to prevent the working class from getting a leg up like they once had. I mean, the DLC, the neoliberal Clinton faction of the party, is still in power. That's the problem. That really is the heart of the problem. I think that's changing. We've seen what we saw in Nevada with the takeover of the Democratic Party there, and look how they behaved in response. But it is changing. So we need more Nevada and less Manchin if we really want things to change. And, you know, look, I'll say this as somebody that has voted for third-party candidates. The reality is we live in a two-party system, and we have to do something to change that. I don't think there is a successful third-party candidate you could run as a president. I just don't. I think we're stuck with what that is at this point. That's just reality. Yeah. I don't like it, but it is reality. So the best shot of making actual structural change is in doing what we did in Nevada, you know, taking over state parties, which allow us to change the rules inside the DNC, because that's really important. If we don't change some of these rules inside the DNC, that's not going to affect what happens, you know, in these elections, right? So we are making headway in that direction. We haven't gone far enough, but I do think there's been movement, and I think it's going to be it's going to take time. I hate to say it. Like, maybe I'm like Bernie now. I'm feeling a little bit defeated after 2020. I am feeling a little bit defeated.
I think a lot of people are feeling defeated, and it's hard when you don't have a leader. You know, it's not that you, especially, I don't know, in socialism, like, want necessarily like one leader or whatever, but
movements need leaders.
Need direction. Yeah,
I mean, that's just, you know, you need somebody to inspire, to be, and it needs to be somebody that is clean in the sense that doesn't take corporate money, has true principles, and isn't being motivated by power or grifting or any of those things. That's hard to find.
Yeah,
and I think when we have false leaders, meaning people that we think are those folks, and then they turn out to be something different, that kind of chips away at a movement, doesn't it? It sort of deflates things a little bit. So, well, and there are so many people who pretend to be things that they are not, and like AOC has potentially shown us, and Bernie has proven himself over decades and decades and decades, but now he's tired, and
it's hard. It's really, really hard.
It's hard.
We have another super chat. OG Chris Garrett. Look, Chris Garrett.
Hey, Chris Garrett.
Now I can put super chats on the screen. What a feat. $10 in the super chat. It's so great to hear both of you bringing on the news. You're having way too much fun together, and it's contagious. Much respect for what you do. Yay! We are having fun. This is so fun. We're having a good time. Yay! And that's why we said, like, we have to have fun because everything else is terrible. Like, what a terrible world. Okay, I think one more story, and then like we'll do rapid fire questions. I see Hypatia's up now.
Is Hypatia? Oh, hi.
No, I love her. She should come on. She should like pop her little head up.
She just laid down again. She was up for a second. She's now 1 year old, so she's sleeping more and not as rowdy as she was before. I sort of miss the rowdy.
Hypatia. Well, I wanted to point out that Nina Turner is doing quite well. She is, as you guys know, she's running for Congress in Ohio, and that election will be in August. So she's picking up endorsements left and right, including Bernie and AOC, and she's labor organizations and things like that. So this latest story is about the janitors union endorsing her, but it also walks you through how much money she's raised and things like that. This just happens to be the latest article about all of the success that she's having. So it's not that it's in the bag or anything, but she's doing really well. And I have to say I'm surprised because she's even having some success among some more establishment local folks, which surprised me.
Which is good.
So yeah, it's good. It's good. So this is talking about the local janitors union that's supporting her. She was talking earlier about like the bakers union. She has the SEIU is supporting her. She's got National Nurses United, Amalgamated Transit Union, confectionery, tobacco workers and grain millers, retail wholesaler, department store union, the retail wholesale and department store union, which is trying to unionize Amazon warehouse workers. So she obviously has really progressive policies. She's more progressive on policy in some cases than Bernie Sanders is. Yeah. She would, of course, be taking over for Marcia Fudge. Where does it say? Here she is. So Turner said on Monday that she had raised more than $2.2 million since announcing her campaign in December. It doesn't say it here, but I believe from something that I watched earlier, she has more than 70,000 donors. That figure might not be true. That's just off the top of my head. I regret not looking that up. I thought it would be in here. Anyway, the case is that she has raised more than $2.2 million since announcing her campaign, and has more than $1 million cash on hand. So her closest kind of rival has raised $680,000. Wow. So that is a person who is like close to Fudge.
That is a massive difference, actually.
Yeah, it's a huge difference. So I'm like really surprised. Like thinking back, like Nina Turner was not allowed to nominate Bernie in 2016. Right. Like the DNC didn't let her. So to go from that to going to potentially becoming a congresswoman, and even having some establishment people backing her. And she was interviewed by Crystal Ball of The Hill, and Crystal asked her, why do you think that some of these more establishment local figures are endorsing you? And she said, well, I'm a coalition builder. People know me as this firebrand, this really fiery speaker, but I bring people together. Like I'm someone who knows how to build bridges and build coalitions. So I'm really hopeful. I really have a lot of respect for Nina. I think she's a great woman. I've interviewed her a few times. Jordan's interviewed her several times. Yeah. I really have high hopes for her. So looking good. What do you think?
Like I just read one of the chats and it said the Democratic Party is where social movements go to die. And like, I read that and I'm like, yeah, that's true. But at the same time, what choices do we actually have in this country? We don't have any real choices. Our choices are, so I go back to this one thing. I interviewed Matthew Steen, who is one of the Weather Underground members that served 10 years in prison for his association we can get into the details of being a political prisoner. But when I interviewed him, one of the things he said to me, I asked him which party he was affiliated, what he thought of both parties, because I was curious. And his response to me was, there's the fuckers and then there's the motherfuckers. So, his point being that you've got the Republicans, which are absolutely worse in every way, shape, and form, and then you've got the horrible Democrats. There's no good option here, right?
Right.
But that is what we're dealing with. How you fix it seems insurmountable to me. Would I like to see a system in which there are 6 different parties and it was more parliamentarian in the way we handled our politics in that capacity? Yes, absolutely. I think it would help a lot. I think a reasonable way we can change it a bit is through ranked choice voting. I would say that's how Chesa Boudin won his race in San Francisco. I don't think he would have won if they didn't have ranked choice voting in that city. You're going to get more progressives in if we had ranked choice voting. So having said that, I don't see that Nina has any other choice if she wants to win an election, but by coalition building. Yeah. You have to keep in mind when you are running an election and you're trying to get elected, and also when you're governing, you have an obligation to your constituency and what your constituents ask for or demand or want, right? Your constituency should be the people in your district or your state and not the corporations. And sometimes going along with that is realizing that some constituents want things that maybe are different from what we want. You know what I'm saying? So coalition building might feel on a superficial level to be selling out a bit. I don't think it necessarily is. I think it's sort of part of the system that we're in.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I don't think it's selling out. I think you can maintain your principles and your policies and still, be a human who speaks to other humans and it speaks in a way to other colleagues and other,
right. I mean, look at Medicare for All, Jen. I think Medicare for All would be a prime example of that. If all of these Congress folks were actually listening to their constituents, we would have Medicare for All because there's a plurality of voters that support that in both parties, right? Obviously more on the left side than the right side, but there is still a substantial chunk of voters on the right that understand that it's economically more efficient, it's better coverage, et cetera. So a prime example of them not listening to voters is denying Medicare for All and not bringing it to the floor, right? That's not the same thing as living in a constituency where they want, gun rights, for example. Sometimes there are, states that are very much rural, less urban, and that's what the constituents are asking. And the reason I bring that up is look at how they tar and feathered Bernie Sanders for some of his gun votes, when really he was listening to what his constituents were asking of him, which is the right thing to do. So I think we can logically see through both of those things and see why they're not mutually exclusive, right? So I think you really just have to pay attention. Is this politician doing the will of their voters, or are they doing the will of their donors and the wealthy elites that are, funding their campaigns through super PACs or whatever else?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm curious to see what will happen. Obviously, there's a few months in between now and the election. Anything could happen. The closer it gets, the dirtier the politics. So we'll see kind of what happens as time gets closer. I've already seen, it's hard to make leftists or anybody perfectly happy. I've already seen people starting to be like, well, Nina, like someone in her family is a cop. It's like, okay, right. Well, that happens. So, or like, I don't agree with her on this point, so she's completely bad. No, come on, guys. There's nuance. Like, it's okay. Like, people can disagree on certain things, but that you don't throw out the whole person. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody's going to agree on everything all of the time. That's a ridiculous bar.
Yes, and I think that nuance is lost for a lot of people. I don't know if it's like a thing of where some people are maybe younger and haven't had a lot of experience or whatever, but that nuance is really, really lost in a lot of progressives. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens.
Right.
I don't know, this leftist infighting or whatever. I hope doesn't blow us all up, I guess, on the progressive end, because it could impact good candidates like Nina. And that's something Jordan and I were talking about yesterday on the live stream is, what happens if there's so much division that good candidates get lost in,
Right.
the hatred for AOC. And then all of a sudden, like, maybe a candidate's endorsed by Justice Dems, which people don't like, but that candidate happens to be really super. But people turn against them because maybe AOC endorses them or something. So we'll see what happens. I don't know. It feels like the progressive movement, at least online, is really in a tumultuous sort of space right now. So we'll see.
We'll see. But I think part of that just stems from the perception of not having they're not being listened to. Their constituents are not being listened to. That's why they're angry. And that's true of people that have elected progressives. And I think those that are progressive are probably more on the firing line than others because they made promises about listening to their constituency. And I think it matters. Like, I am a big believer that all politicians are public servants. They're not rock stars. Mm-hmm. Don't worship them ever.
Yep.
Hold them accountable always.
Yep.
And I think AOC has, and this is maybe some people are going to get mad at me for saying this, but I don't think she's been doing a good job of listening lately. No, I think some of the criticism that's being lobbed at her is well-deserved.
Mm-hmm. I completely agree. I 100% agree. And that's something too, when she deserves praise, then I give her praise. When she doesn't, in my opinion, then I call her out. And I've had people, let's say I call her out on Twitter or whatever. I've had people say, like, I'm so disappointed in you, Jen. It's like, well, no, like, I'm not a fangirl.
I don't understand. I got to be frank with you. I'm not understanding this concept that she should be separated from this pool of politicians that need to be held accountable. That just doesn't make sense to me on principle.
Right. Yeah, it's really an interesting phenomenon, this idea of where she's kind of this combination of celebrity / influencer / politician. We've never had that before in this way. So it's a whole new ball game that I don't know what's going to happen with that. So I don't know.
I don't know.
We'll see. But I have high hopes for Nina anyway, and it seems like her campaign is going really well. Oh, we have another super chat. Andrew Dwyer, which I put on the screen. I love it. $1.99 in the super chat. I have some hope for Ro Khanna. Ro is a good guy. I did some work with him when I was on the writing team for Justice Dems. He's a very kind person, and I like his policies. But in some cases, I do wish he'd go harder and stand up for more certain things. But I do think his heart is in the right place. I think he's a good guy.
You want my 2 thoughts on Ro?
Yeah, I do. I want to know.
Okay, so thought number 1 is, yes, he's a good guy with a good heart. I agree with you. Thought number 2, you're also right. I wish he would go harder, and he doesn't. But the reason he doesn't is you have to sort of understand his constituency. He is representing Silicon Valley. That is who he's responsible for. Those are his voters. So sometimes when you see him making votes that you don't like, this is why. So this is what I was kind of referencing earlier. You have a tension that exists there. If somebody, I could say the same thing for Nancy Pelosi, except I think she is just a bankrupt, corrupt politician and she needs to go? Yes, 1,000 times yes. She is the worst of the worst. Yeah. But we have to understand that her district is incredibly, incredibly wealthy. The reason she keeps winning re-election is because she's actually doing the bidding of her constituency. Her constituency is wealthy. We have billionaires in her district. I think the average income in her district is $160,000 a year or something like this. It's definitely around there. So how do we get around that?
Yeah, that's a great point, because if they're truly supposed to be serving their constituency, and that's what their constituency is.
So it's obvious that some of that constituency is big corporate money, right?
Yeah.
But I guess what I'm getting at is, even if we banned the corporate donations and we got rid of, the super PACs and the dark money, there would still be the fact that their districts are chock full of incredibly wealthy people. I mean, we could discuss re-gerrymandering these districts, but I don't think that would matter either, because ours are done independently, so they're actually pretty fair compared to other states. I think it's just the concentration of wealth.
Yeah.
And that's what we're contending with. And how do you get somebody out of the leadership position that Nancy's in based on those reasons, right? At least in Roe's case, he's pretty progressive given where his district is. So he does well to also sort of push things left.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, he's also very progressive considering he's very rich too.
Yes, that's undeniably true. But I feel like he's even progressive in areas that a lot of wealthy elites probably don't like. There are some that do. There's been a couple of vocal venture capitalists, for example, that have now come out and said, if we don't do something about the income inequality, we cannot save capitalism. It's dire. People don't need 30 yachts, but we need people to spend money. So they want to change, make structural change based on reasons that are different from the reasons I want to make structural change, but at least they want to make structural change, right? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I don't know if it's just the severity of it that's finally gotten these guys worried, but they're seeing the writing on the wall. I think an interesting person to follow is Dan Price, who's the CEO from Seattle, actually.
Yeah, he's cool.
I love his Twitter. His Twitter is amazing. This guy is so spot on in everything he says. But if you see a lot of the times the folks that are yelling at him, right, calling him, names, whatever, they're those that want to preserve the status quo. Right. They don't like the idea of a CEO being more egalitarian or sort of having his company function as a worker owned co-op, which it more or less is if he's raising the salaries and making them more even. Right. That's threatening to the status quo. Having people in that capacity say, no, this is wrong, we have to change it, is threatening to the status quo. We need more of it. We don't have enough of it yet, but it's very difficult to push through structural change in this country.
Yeah, it sure is. Thank you, Andrew. Okay, so we have another one. Where'd it go? Why won't it let me put oops, I didn't mean to put that one up, but there you go, Dave. I don't know why it won't let me put this one up. There it is. Eric G, $10 in the super chat. Thank you, Eric. Hashtag force the vote is a red line. If you can't support that low bar, then you're not really a progressive. Ooh, this is a throwback to a real dramatic time online a couple of months ago. So,
but honestly, Jen, why is that controversial? Why is forcing the vote even controversial to begin with? It should have never been. You're just asking. These are just voters saying to their elected official, "You represent me. This is what I want you to do." Why are you denying? Why are you denying even discussing a position that is so popular that people in both parties want it? Well, there's no reason except for your donors, right? I mean, that should have never been controversial. I'm highly convinced that a lot of the anger towards it was astroturfed. I don't think it was authentic at all.
Yeah. So my take on this is I was for force the vote. Jordan was for force the vote. I do not see at all why it did not happen. It made perfect sense to me. But I'm gonna disagree with the idea that if you don't support it, then you're not progressive, because we have to be able to disagree on things. Like, there were valid reasons why progressives, real progressives, thought that it wasn't the best move, and that's okay. We can disagree on things. We can talk back and forth. We can share ideas. It's okay to disagree, and I think that's something that progressives have forgotten. Like, the online space has been like, if you don't agree with me 100% of the time, then you're not real. Then you're not good. You're not good enough. You're not pure enough. You're not progressive enough. And that can't be the case, or we'll never get anywhere. It's okay. I believed in force the vote. Tina did. Jordan did. You do, Eric. But it's okay if I don't know who didn't. I'm not going to call anyone out. Let's say my friend Bob. It's okay if my friend Bob doesn't. Like, let's say he's for Medicare for all. He's for a Green New Deal. He's for everything. He's a Bernie guy. He is a true, strong progressive. Maybe he had good reasons for specifically not thinking force the vote. It was maybe the wrong time. It was maybe the wrong strategy. But on everything else, maybe we do align. That, like, just because we don't align on one thing, it doesn't mean it's not a real progressive. So I think people got really carried away with this one thing, and then it became like a Jimmy Dore versus everybody else versus it became this whole thing, and it was really bad for the progressive space because it caused such division. I'm not saying the force the vote was bad. I'm saying the divisiveness was bad.
Oh, 100% agree.
Yeah. So
that was just Hypatia, apparently.
Hypatia. Yeah. So I agree with you, Eric, on force the vote. I think it was good for progressives. I think it was good for Medicare for all. If it had happened, it didn't happen. But I think we have to be able to disagree in order to get anywhere. We have to allow for differences of opinion, or we can't do anything. We have to be able to disagree. It's okay to disagree, but I love your thoughts and appreciate the $10. Thank you. Yay. So, my energy is waning. Okay. So let's do rapid fire super chats, rapid fire questions. Let us know, what are your questions? We'll do maybe 10 more minutes. Let us have it. What are your questions? Wow.
Hypatia says hello.
Status Pupper. Yeah. If you aren't a member yet, we have some good stuff coming, and I can reveal that we are changing our logo. We are not changing it much. We are just changing the color because people have said that it looks like the Blue Lives Matter logo, which is not what we're going for. So we are simply changing the blue to a money green, like to represent, we are taking down the corporate interests, and it also represents, as someone, I can't remember who it was, I think it was Carne Verde, maybe. It also represents climate and green and good stuff. So that will be coming out soon. We will reissue new Status Coup masks with that. And so if you join Status Coup, I'm going to say it now. I'm going to call it now. If you join Status Coup from April 6th through a point yet to be determined, you will get a new Status Coup mask with the new logo on it. Statuscoup.com/join. Statuscoup.com/join. New mask, new Status Coup mask. I don't have one of the old ones to show you, but a Status Coup mask. Statuscoup.com/join, just $5 a month. You get access to our members only Discord chat, which is really fun. It's sad when we're off the live stream. It's so sad. There's no one to talk to. But you could just go to the Status Coup chat, and there's always Cougars to talk to. Jordan and I hop in there. And Knott's in there all the time. A lot of our mods are in there all the time. You'll see a lot of the faces that are in this chat there all the time. $5 a month. Maybe you're already a member. Buy your neighbor a membership. Buy your dog a membership. Buy your
dog, yes.
Grandma.
Hypatia's now, yes, I'm a member.
Hypatia's like, I'm a member of Status Coup. The more members we have, the more we're able to grow. I can't say it enough. YouTube has dramatically dropped our income by about 70%. So we need all the help we can get You could also, if you're already a member, help us out at any amount. GoFundMe.com/statuscoup. Any amount helps, and we super, super appreciate it. Eric G with another super chat. Yay. $7. I want to thank Tina for bringing on the list Farron Cousins on Now I Know What He's All About. #TYT wannabe. Did you bring on Farron Cousins? Farron Cousins. I want to thank Tina.
Wait, what about Farron Cousins? I didn't hear the whole thing.
I want to thank Tina for bringing on Farron Cousins, and now I know what he's all about. You interviewed him, right?
I did. I had him on. So interestingly, I didn't even know that he was a controversial person on the left. So I brought him on because he did Ring of Fire media, he was early on, like independent media, standing up to the George Bush, like years ago, and he did a lot of amazing things. He was sort of a precursor to what we have now. But did TYT badmouth him? I don't know anything about this.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know the backstory, but it's good. It's good. Eric learned about Farron. That's good. I don't know much about him, but it seemed good. He seems like a good, cool guy.
Yeah, he's been very dedicated. I mean, he was progressive media before we really had progressive media. I mean, you have to think that this was 20 years ago. So he's been doing that for a long time.
Wow.
Does that mean I agree with everything he has to say? No, but I do think he's very much that person. And if TYT was yelling at him, then, I mean.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that's a list of, that might be an endorsement.
That's
Did I just say that publicly? Oh my God.
Hypatia's getting some love.
She woke up and decided to stroll on into the.
Paul is pointing out that we announced the members call. Yes, so we will have a members call for April. The members call is so fun. Jordan and I, and often Tina's there, others, depending on what month it is, what's going on. So for Status Coup members, we hop on Zoom and you guys can ask us anything. Members only, again, just $5 a month. Have any burning questions for us? Want to know the true behind the scenes?
You want to know all the hot takes?
All the pot takes, we'll let you know. Statuscoup.com/join. Ask me anything call. Sometimes we do 2 a month. So you get a mask, Status Coup mask with the new blue. New green. New green. You'll be one of the first. New Status Coup logo. And you'll get the members call. You'll get all kinds of new perks, such as behind the scenes videos. It's really, really cool. And you help us grow. Another one, Tim says, the new guest looks like a good-natured lefty. Well, Tina's more than a guest. Tina is all over Status Coup. She does a lot of great videos, a lot of great interviews. She's done a ton of live streams for us. So she's amazing. Tina-Desiree Berg.
Yes, I am very more casual today than normal.
I bring the casualness out of
you.
Tina.
Bring the casualness out of me, Jen. It's funny because Jordan's always like, this isn't working for local media. I know that you've done that in the past. Just, and I'm like, okay.
Well, how could you possibly be serious when I'm like, oh, I can't work the stream.
Right? I'm like, I can say the F word? What?
Joanna says, I lost it. So Joanna says what? Joanna said, good idea. Yeah. Great idea, Jen. Buy your neighbor a membership. Yeah, that's the cool thing. You can gift anyone a membership. Email us at info@statuscoup.com. We've even had people who say, hey, I want to help you guys out. I want to help other people out. There are a lot of people out there who can't afford their own membership. So we have people who say, hey, I want to sponsor 10 people a month for memberships. So they'll, so that would be $50 a month. And we'll set them up with a special link. They'll sponsor. Then we will put, hook up people who are in need of a free membership. So you're helping out people who want to be part of Status Coup as a member. It helps us grow and it helps people who want that. So info@statusquo.com if you are in a financial position to, I don't want to say bless others, because it's like the weird Christian cult stuff I grew up with. How would you say it? Like gift others with your, I don't know. Yeah, I'm feeling loopy. That it would be very, very kind of you. So let's see here. Let's see. We have another super chat. You guys are incredible. I've got to note these down here. 5 Canadian dollars. Pookie New Jack City, 5 Canadian buckaroonies. WC Jen, what does that mean? WC. I don't know. Tina, great point. Politicians fail to represent U.S. people because they were elected by their constituents to represent their district and not the entire population.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes that's good, sometimes that's bad, right? But it's sometimes why you see these nuanced votes, right? I call them nuanced votes because they're listening to what their constituents want, which is really why I was a little bit bothered by the way Bernie Sanders was attacked for some of those gun votes, because he was clearly in step with the rural population of Vermont. That's just not up for debate. So now, do liberals across the country in LA and New York like that? No, they hate it. Of course they do. But I don't think it's fair to criticize any congressperson or senator for doing the will of their voters. That's what they're elected to office to do. So yeah, sometimes that's good, sometimes that's bad.
That's a really good point. A really good point. And it feels, it can feel like we are betrayed because we do look at these people as like, Ro Khanna, that's Ro Khanna. I look up to him. Why isn't he doing what I want? But really, yeah, he's there to represent his district. So,
right.
Yeah.
I mean, really, all things considered, he's incredibly progressive for that district. Yeah. So I think we're lucky to have him in that spot. It could be a hell of a lot worse. I mean, not for every one Tom Steyer, right? There's like 30,000 Jeff Bezos.
Yeah.
There's a handful of very wealthy elites that want progressive policy. There's not a lot of them.
Yeah. Jerusha asks, what would you think of sending your audience to other channels and media outlets to pressure them to cover status quo stories? So I don't want to send people in a swarm to annoy other channels or whatever. But yeah, if you want to email Kyle Kulinski, who ignores us, but I like you, Kyle. I love you. No, I don't know Kyle at all, but I like his content. He truly doesn't cover us. But yeah, if you wanted to say hey, it'd be great if you covered this story from Status Quo. If you want to tweet at people, whatever, I think that's fantastic. I think it takes word of mouth to get Status Quo out because we are so suppressed.
Right.
So you guys are, I don't want to say the Status Quo army because that's what TYT says about their people. You guys are the Status Quo community, and it does take word of mouth. So we appreciate anything that you can do to help get our content out, help get other people to cover our stuff, whatever. So that's a great idea, Jerusha. And I did see your email. You do have great ideas. It's a very long email, so I skimmed it and I saw good ideas. I will get back to you. We are super, super swamped, but I did see it and I like it. Dave D has a good idea here. Join, statusquo.com/join. Let's see. Silence is Violence asks, will the logo be big because the logo on my mask is small? So it depends on which mask you have. The one from Teespring is smaller. The one that we did, that we had special made for members, new members, was bigger. So we have to special order those. It'll be bigger. Yeah, it'll be bigger. So I hope that answers. And we'll have to find a way to make those available. Eric G, $5. He's a liar. He said your show that he never said that he didn't support Bernie from using the pandemic to support Medicare for all. Is that about Farron? I don't know. Is that, Tina, is that what Farron said?
Is that the what? Sorry, Paisha's
Oh yeah, no worries. Eric said he's a liar. He said on your show that he never said he didn't support Bernie from using the pandemic to support Medicare for all.
Who
I
said
don't
they
know.
never supported?
I think Farron. I don't know. I don't understand the context.
I don't either. Did as far as I know, Farron's a big Bernie Sanders supporter. No, I know he is.
Yeah, Eric, if you can clarify.
Yeah, could you clarify that? I'm not following.
Yeah, I don't understand.
And I know, so he also supports Medicare for all. There might be something I don't know about, or maybe nuance. I don't know. I can't really speak to that.
Pork chops and applesauce, says Tina rocks. That's cute. Cute name too. I couldn't even say it. Let's see. You guys are amazing with these incredible super chats. Yes, Dave D reminds you our email is info@statusquo.com if you would like to become a sponsor, or if you have a question or something like that. Let's see. Dave D says #blessed. Let's see.
Can you hear Hypatia whining? I'm sorry.
No, look, it works perfect. And that says love progressive members too. Hypatia, come be a mascot.
Hypatia, come here. Come here. Now she won't come.
She's like, you've been on live streaming forever.
Yeah. Oh, here she comes. Come here. No. Okay, no. She's like now running in circles. She's very noisy when she wants to be.
Silence is violence.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Jenn didn't answer my question. Did she get her COVID vaccine yet? It may help for symptoms. I'm in Maryland. I signed up for all of I signed up for my county wait list, the state wait list, there's some national one that locates your local thing. So I'm signed up all over the place. I haven't gotten it. They say they opened yesterday. I'm hopeful, really hopeful. So that's what I've heard all over the place is with long haulers that getting the vaccine seems to help. So I'm really desperate.
Yeah, it's supposed to help, which is really interesting to me.
Yeah. I find it interesting too, especially because they know so little about what's going on. So the fact that it helps is encouraging.
I'll be right back.
You're fine. So let's see here. Oh, Pookie New Jack City says Kyle covered your take on Flint and state capitol riots, you guys. Oh, that's good to know. So thank you, Kyle. I really do. I like Kyle a lot. I think his, I don't have much time to watch other streamers, other YouTube people, but I really think Kyle is smart, and I like his streams.
Yeah,
he
has really good analysis, I think.
He has great analysis for sure. So it's good. It's good to hear that he covered that stuff. So I take it back. Kyle covered that stuff. So that's really good to hear. Let's see here. Tim says, I have seen a lot of great live journalism on this channel that I don't see anywhere else. Thank you very much. That's wonderful, Tim. That is that's our goal and our mission. And we're so glad that you see that in us, because that means a lot, especially in this time of suppression where it feels like, okay, we're doing all this work. Is anyone seeing it? So that means a lot. Thank you. Andrew Dwyer, another super chat. $1.99. Kyle never does live chats. It's going to be tough. That's true. I always wondered that. He never does his live chats. I think he used to do a radio show or something, and then that's how he split up his stuff. But it's been a few years since I was able to regularly listen. But that's a good point.
Well, live stream it's more time consuming than I think people realize. Sometimes it's easier to record something and upload it. So, I mean, it is definitely more polished. Obviously, there's not dogs running through your...
But it's so fun. Well, actually, so Tina, I remember when we were in California, I was like, let's just do a live stream while we're driving to Malibu or whatever. And you're like, why would people watch that? Why would anyone watch that?
That's true.
It's like, I don't know, it's just fun.
but it is more authentic, I think. I think, the more I understand this, the more it seems to me that people like to see, maybe not everything has to be polished all the time, and journalists just being authentic in themselves and giving their personal opinions. Let's face it. Every journalist has a personal opinion. Anybody that tells you otherwise is totally full of shit. They sometimes hide it. Yes, of course. And so I don't think it has anything to do with having a bias per se. It's whether or not your biases or your conclusions are grounded in facts.
Yeah.
And confirmed sources, etc. So you're allowed to have an opinion.
Yeah.
Just make sure that it's grounded in something that's, sensible.
Absolutely. I agree. And I think it's the way that things are going, people kind of want that more personalized touch. And
I don't blame them.
It depends on what, the situation is. Like there are certain times where it's called for to be more, more professional, more polished. But I thought of you when Jordan and I were on a call earlier today with someone who was helping with the website, and talking us through like working on Twitch, like boosting our presence on Twitch. And he was showing us some popular Twitch streamers, and literally one of them had been streaming for like 20 days, and people, like thousands of people, were just watching this guy sleep at that time. And I was like, what? Why would anyone watch this guy sleep? And this guy has earned $500,000.
Wow.
And they're watching him sleep. So I thought of you. I was like, well, Tina was shocked about just like us talking in the car about politics. Well, I'm shocked about people watching this guy sleep and giving him $500,000. Anyway, so okay, so we're gonna wrap it up here. Joanna says Jenn and Tina road trip sounds amazing. I agree. We always have such a good time together. We'll definitely do this more. We had someone who had a great suggestion earlier on in the stream to do. I can't quite find it right now, but we will. I'll find that great suggestion for a stream that we could do, and we'll keep this up because people.
Yeah, Jenn, we should do this now that you're feeling better once a week at least.
Yeah, super fun. So
I'm game.
And you guys are amazing as viewers. We really appreciate you, especially through these times of major suppression, through these times where I've been sick, where Jordan's been holding down the fort like crazy, just working nonstop. You guys are the reason everything's been kept going. So thank you. Keep spreading the word about Status Coup. Please, if you want that cool new logo mask, statuscoup.com/join. If you're already a member, you can help us out with the dramatic about 70% drop in income from YouTube and their shenanigans. You can help us out at any amount by going to gofundme.com/statuscoup. You can also sponsor memberships, or some people want to set up a recurring like subscription or donation that just goes through every month. We can do that too. We can set that up. info@statuscoup.com. We can work out anything if you wanna help us out, if you're in a position to. We are more, we're very humbly accepting of any help, because we definitely need it. And we don't do this for money. We do this because we feel that it is our mission and our purpose to.
Yes, we're not going to become millionaires doing this.
No, certainly not. Certainly not.
And that's okay. I don't need to be a millionaire.
So Tina, do you want to tell them where to find you, District 34 as well?
District 34, the podcast?
Yeah, like tell them how to find you.
Oh, all right. Well,
I'm really so, are that. Which is how. Tina,
that's just like, so. I have a podcast called District 34 where I interview folks and I cover mainly California politics. But if you have an interest in those things, and I will interview every progressive candidate that runs for office, no matter what state. I just interviewed Muad Harazi, who is from Libya. He's born in Libya, but he's an American. He's running for office in Connecticut. Interesting story there. So District 34 is my podcast. And then whatever stuff that's more local, less national, goes on to our YouTube there, District 34 YouTube. But all of my bigger stories, national stories, impact stories go on Status Coup. So that's sort of the difference.
Yay.
So stuff is really super local. If you want to see what's happening at the Target in Century City, then that's where you go.
What? No. Stop it.
Yeah, we just shot some anti-maskers who are Trump supporters.
But you're
that have
not
been in
just
Beverly
like
Hills.
you're not just like here's what's new at Target. You're like talking. Tina says she's really bad at promotion, and this is clear. This is becoming very clear. Like check Tina's stuff out. She's not just like talking about new shoes at Target. She's doing real reporting. So she's great.
Yeah,
she's
no, and also so for Status Coup this week, I have another Amazon worker story that I'm doing. I'm going to talk to her tomorrow, but it's pretty explosive. And then also I was down in San Diego on Sunday. Yes, I drove down to San Diego because it was that important to interview some activists who have been served Department of Justice subpoenas and have had their premises, their houses ransacked by the police. You'll have to tune in to hear the rest of that story. But I think it's something we need to start paying attention to.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Really, really important stories. All right. Thank you, viewers. Love you all. You're all amazing. Thank you, Tina. You, of course, are amazing. You always make me laugh. We're very goofy, but we did some good analysis today. I think got some good
We did some really good
there.
pot takes.
Some good pot takes. We coined a new term. And
it's a good one.
We'll definitely be back. All right, guys. See you guys later.
Take care.
Bye-bye.